still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text AREA to 42424 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text AREA to 42424. That's AREA to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
ESPN New York, now streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe today and watch the show. WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York. Don.
One day you're not going to play football anymore. And if there's a God up above, it'll be soon.
Hahn.
Huge? No. But big? Yeah.
And Rosenberg.
I didn't listen to anything you just said.
This isn't North Dakota. This is New York.
This is Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg.
The best threesome I've ever heard.
On ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
301 of the big city. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg on a gorgeous Friday. We're Peterless today, as Peter is hurtling his way to Italy as we speak. And because the Spurs won last night, we don't have to have him on to make a pick because we still don't know who the Knicks are playing.
Isn't that amazing?
And that's a good thing. But finally, I say finally like it's a positive thing, there was something that didn't go the Knicks' way last night. Like everything has broken the right way. But now finally something broken that's a negative for the Knicks. And that is the pinky of Mitchell Robinson. And it's really the first negative news in over a month. They haven't lost. Everything they've needed other teams to do, they've done, as we get prepared now for Saturday's Game 7 at Oklahoma City between the Thunder and the Spurs. But finally, some bad kind of news. It's not bad because it looks like he's going to play, but still not what you wanted to hear on this wagon that's been the New York Knicks.
It's true, but I did get word that Jordan Clarkson was summoned by OG Anunoby to sprinkle some of his magic dust over this this pinky, and he's been healed.
Okay.
But look, I thought Wendy said it best this morning, I think on First Take. If anyone's going to get hurt in any body part, I think you'll take pinky on Mitchell Robinson. You don't want it to be his feet. You don't want it to be anything involving anything his legs, because his rebounding, his defense are so critical, and that's, everything about what he brings. Guy's not going to be catching the ball and shooting a lot. You just hope he can catch the ball with whatever they're going to do to protect it.
His free throws can't get any worse.
Well, I mean, there's that.
Maybe
too.
this will make it better.
But
I don't know.
I mean, he'll. You knew he'd play through it. You had to once you heard. I heard it when I heard it yesterday. I was like, he's going to play. I know they said there's no timetable. They have to say that, but he's the longest tenured Knick. You think he's going to go? Well, it's pink. He can't play. I mean, that's when you start discussing Ronnie Lott with him.
Oh, yeah.
That's when you start saying, well, listen, how much does it mean to you? Really? Do you really need it? You don't wear a pinky ring. I've seen you. What else are you going to do with a pinky? Really, what's the purpose of a pinky, Don? Can we discuss? What do you really need it for?
It balances everything out.
Does it?
Yes.
I mean, the big toe balances. That's why you need your big toe.
No, it balances for you to be – look at me talking like I'm a doctor. It balances you like standing. But no, if you're shooting, if you're catching, I mean, the pinky is a big deal, right?
Can I show you something? People on YouTube, you might get grossed out. This is my pinky. You ready? This is what basketball did to me.
Okay. That's not good.
Okay, that's what basketball did to my pinky. Do you think this thing is functional at all? You know how many times I broke this thing?
But it's there. And
it doesn't do it. If I play basketball, this thing, look what it does when I just hold it straight up.
But does it hurt?
No.
That's
this feels like nothing right now. I'm just literally bending it as far back as I can. It does nothing.
But it's still there, right, to balance out a shot or a catch or something to that effect. He's going to have pain, and even if he gets shots or whatever. Listen, once I found out that he was going to play, it was over for me.
Yep.
Right? I'm over it.
Your concern is gone.
When I found out that he was, no timetable, when Sham sent it out, it's like, oh boy, really, this is what they need.
Well, it's better than getting a time. If it was it's 4 to 6 weeks, that would have worried me more. No timetable, I was like, all right, that's good.
Yeah, but it had at least the way I read it, Alan, had this indefinitely kind of feel to it.
I get it.
We don't know, and
right.
And then you sent the text, there's no way he's missing, and then that made me feel better. And then when they said that he's going to play, then I was like, that's fine.
He plans to play through it.
Yeah, and that's fine. Because, again, you want him blocking shots. You want him to be a disruptor. He's not there to score points. His free throws are a mess anyway. Maybe this, in some kind of freaky way, will make it better because clearly – no, because he's obviously put in the work, right? Obviously, it's a mental thing, right?
Yeah.
And I've always been a big believer. I've said this many times on this show and others, that when there's a mental block to do something, take the pressure away is going to make it easier for you to do it. And one of the ways to take pressure off someone is to give them little expectation. You tell Don LaGreca he's got no shot of doing something, I've got a better shot of doing it from a mental standpoint because nobody expects me to succeed. Yeah. It's when you tell me, oh, you got this, Don. You're definitely going to do it. Well, then that's what adds the pressure because now I'm disappointing everybody. He's going to go to the foul line, and everybody's going to think he's going to be worse. And if he misses, they'll go, oh, well, listen, he's not good at it, but now he's got a broken pinky. Now he might step up there and go, listen, I'm going to defy the odds. If I miss, nobody's going to boo me. They're going to feel bad for me. You know, that's why I never understood when they say, you got this in sports. Like when I watch Marco play baseball, they always you got this.
Never say you got this?
I don't want to hear you got this. That puts more pressure on me. You should say, Don, you stink. You got no shot. It's almost like the break a leg thing in entertainment, right? Go break a leg. Like that's the opposite. That's how I kind of feel. Like go out there and say, Don, you got no shot, man. I create. You know how many people in this business told me I was an update guy, and that's all I was ever going to be, and just lean into that.
Oh yeah.
If they had told me when I first came into the business I was going to be, the next Michael Kay or the next Doc Emmerich, I would have been shaken because now I'm going to disappoint them.
Yeah,
you hear what I'm saying? You know what
I get it. I get it.
So,
I get it.
So if anything, this could be good for his foul shooting.
Well, I just want to make sure he can catch a ball, especially rebounds. That's his biggest attribute to me is rebounding and blocking shots. And the best thing is that he blocks shots with both hands. He's a very rare ambidextrous shot blocker. And that's one of his innate skills. So that and rebounding are the two things that matter more than anything. Shooting, we know, is catching lobs. Like can he handle that? But we saw Mike Brown already handle his minutes differently once everybody started making it a what you got to say that out loud, Jake, because
sorry about that.
Come on.
Your pinky is about roughly 30 to 50% of your overall hand grip strength.
See?
50% of your grip strength is a pinky? Well, that's probably why I don't have any grip strength in this hand.
That's right.
Because, as you can see, this ain't doing a damn thing. This thing is useless. Useless digit.
It looks like it.
Yeah, it is very useless.
But I think being there, it's for the support of what Jacob's talking about.
That's good research by Jacob.
And that's your left hand, right? So from a grip strength standpoint, everything else is okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm a lefty.
Oh, see, then it's a problem.
Yeah. Very much a problem.
Especially on the road.
But we have noticed that Mike Brown has realized that teams are going to do the hack and Mitch thing. And what he started doing was using it as another chess piece. By when a team gets has about three team fouls, he'll put Mitch in the game instead of later on. And then once they get close to a bonus and they want to start fouling Mitch, he takes him out and puts Towns in. Now, if you get another foul, guess Towns is a great free throw shooter. So you don't want to foul anymore, right? So if you're going to play that game, they have the counter to it, and it's really the only thing. Mitch going to the free throw line is obviously not a good strategy for the Knicks. And so it can be something that whoever the opponent's going to be wants to target. But put him on the list. Now, he's a very important player when it comes to rebounding and everything else. But if you're going to prioritize him as a strategy, there's 7 other people that you've got to worry about first when it comes to your strategy.
This is I don't think – listen, you worry because
going to be a major issue,
everything is broke their way, and you just and also if you know New York sports, because it's been confirmed by the Knicks, this was not basketball related in the sense it didn't happen in practice, didn't happen in the game. So all the people looking at social media showing different times this could have been the injury. No, it happened away from the court. So it does have that Brian Leach slipping on the ice, getting into a taxi. Tom Glavine getting into an accident in a taxi. What's another one? Bobby Ojeda, trimming the hedges, which, listen, God love Bobby. He wasn't trimming the hedges before a playoff game. Something else was going on. But whatever. That's the official thing. Or what happened to Jack Hughes this past year that derailed the Devils season.
Yeah, the glass,
right? It just seems like whenever there's something, because injuries are supposed to happen on the court, field, and ice, right? That's where the injuries happen. You can always go, woe is me, but you always brace yourself every time somebody gets hit, every time there's some sort of collision, that there could be an injury on the field of play. But when injuries happen away, that's when it feels like there's some really bad karma going on here. So if you want to look at it that way, like, I don't think anything that nefarious happened. It was probably just a fluky thing. It just happened.
Probably was an accident.
Yeah.
And the timing is bad. But as you said, they have had so much go their way for 4 weeks that, you were waiting. Like, something's got to, like, go against them. Something. And this is clearly it. And you hope this is it. And nothing else.
And no offense to Mitch, because you just described he's important.
He is very important.
But if something bad had to happen, just the balance of nature kind of deal, let it be this. Right?
Right.
This isn't Brunson. This isn't Cat. This isn't OG. This isn't something that completely changes the specter of the series. It's a problem.
Yes,
but you know what? The one thing that this team has been able to face adversity, and the fact is he's going to play. Now, like the New Jersey Devils bring intensity on the ice, Viking Pest Control brings the same level of protection to your home. And I know this because I use Viking in my own place. The season might be over, but pests are always in play, so it's time to lock in your off-season defense. As the pest control provider and proud partner of the Devils, Viking delivers 45 years of trusted experience to keep ants, cockroaches, stinging insects, rodents, mosquitoes, and more out of your zone. Their local team builds a personalized game plan that actually works, and when you bundle pest control and mosquito services, you score big savings. One call, one company, total peace of mind. Visit VikingPest.com, protecting your home inside and out. Ian Begley is going to join us coming up at 4 o'clock as we're going to try to get as much information as possible on this breaking story. And to see, he had mentioned earlier on SNY that he was going to do everything to play, and that's been forwarded since, that he is going to play. We do have some sound from earlier today, players reacting to what happened to Mitch. Kat talked about the Robinson injury.
Whatever the picture ends up being, us having those trials and tribulations for the last 2 years where things weren't looking good, just like at the end of December with the 2-9, 11-game stretch, it shows that we have resiliency and that we will go out there and we trust everyone in this locker room. And if this playoff run has shown anything, I feel, to the fans and the media, 1 through 15 could go out there, put a Knicks jersey on, and get the job done. And we truly believe in that. So this is a situation that we've garnered enough experience and enough trust in each other that whatever the picture ends up being when we step on that court on Wednesday, we feel confident.
I wouldn't say, Alan, that he's embracing the challenge of the adversity of the injury, but is ready to deal with it. Like, he doesn't want it, but he's ready. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, and at this point, isn't that's just the way it is? Like, you got no choice now. You're in it. I mean, you're in the championship round. Whatever comes your way, it can't slow you down. It can't take away your confidence. You have to have full belief. And every single guy, as he said the 1 through 15 thing, and I know that sounds cliche, but I would think, Dom, when you reach this point, you're not getting this far without 1 through 15. Like with one guy who's just, I'm not ready to play. Everybody's got to be locked in and dialed in at this point. Everybody's ready to go when called upon. It has to be. Whether they're good enough or not is another story. But everybody's got to believe that whoever comes in the game, we know that you know the job. You'll do your job as best as you can.
And not specifically during this run, but they're used to playing without Mitch. I mean, there's been plenty of games they've had to take the court without him playing.
Yeah,
he didn't play on opening night.
Yeah, no back-to-backs. You were right.
Yeah. So it's not. It's tough. We're not sugarcoating it, but of all the things that could happen, I think A, they can handle it, and B, he can handle it.
My concern only is the fact that both teams, no matter who it's going to be, has size you have to contend with. You're not going up like the Hawks didn't have any size. You get away with small lineups. even the Sixers, without Embiid, what were they bringing into the game? You could play small lineups against them. Cleveland had a big front line. You needed Mitch. He was important. So I do think either team, because we know the Thunder have Chet Holmgren, who's 7'2", and then Isaiah Hartenstein, I think he's better than Holmgren. I think he's more effective, and he's another big dude, 6'10", 6'11", that you got to contend with. You need size. And then the other side, do I even need to say it? We know what the Spurs have. They have a 7'5" freak,
right? Who
you've got to throw body after body against, and you've got to have fouls to use, and you've got to have physicality, and you've got to have somebody that's got some serious length, and that's what Mitchell Robinson has. He's got the wingspan, he's got the standing reach, he's got the jump, he's got everything that you need to defend a guy like that. So he's going to be important in this NBA Finals. There's no getting around it. There's no sugarcoating it. But I'm just like Brian Windhorst said, I'm fine with it being a pinky, if that's what it's going to be.
Right. It's not. It's the best case scenario in what ends up being a bad situation for Mitch. Here's OG on what he thinks about the Robinson injury.
Mitch is very important to us. I mean, amazing player. It's unfortunate what happened, but I'm sure just take it day by day now.
Yep, same old.
Many words.
They just all on the same page.
Yeah.
They're all going to say this. They are working as a unit. That's the best thing you could say about them. I think at one point during garbage time, and there was plenty of garbage time at the end of Game 4 against the Cavs, where Mike Breen asked Legler, "What do you love about this team?" And he's just like, they're working together. They it's almost like they've been together for like 10 years, right? That's what it kind of feels like during this run, where they know where everybody is. They all speak alike.
There's a trust.
It's pretty incredible what's happened here.
Yeah, there's a trust. You've seen a lot of the stuff the players are talking about. J.R. Smith said it to us when we had him on yesterday, right? And that by the way, is a interview that if you missed it, I did repost it this morning on Twitter. We had the whole interview out there as well. So you definitely want to check that out. Because, first of all, JR was fantastic talking about his experience in New York and coming back, being welcomed back to New York, and him saying that if they do win a championship, he will be front and center. Yeah. He's always a lot of fun. But when talking about the current team, that's literally what J.R. Smith said, is that he's like, that's the kind of team you want to be part of. You want to be around a team like that, where it just feels like there are no agendas, that there's nobody that's trying to do his own thing, that's about himself. And the sacrifices that players are willing to make, all right, what's it about? It's simply about winning. What's it going to take to win? That's important. And everyone has really kind of locked in from that between Game 3 and 4. I'm telling you, whoever writes the book, they're going to have that story about the meeting, the practice and the film session, or I should say meeting, film session, then practice, and everything that was said and done and what changed from that moment forward. And I do think a lot of it has to do with players who all kind of looked around going, what are we about? Do we want to do this or not? And all 15 guys said, I'm in. And so far, they have stayed in for 11 straight games.
Now, you hear this whenever we open with ENN, where I go, Ian.
Uh-huh.
Well, there's I would joke about his first name, Ian O'Connor. I'd say, Ian. That's where that came from. Mm-hmm. Well, he's going to join us at 3:45. We won't talk about that, because there's plenty of other to talk about. But what's great about having Ian Begley on is to get the latest on what's happening with the team, get the latest on what's happening with Mitch.
Yeah, he's there. He's front and center there.
Ian brings, I think, a historical perspective to this, because he's covered, he covered the 94 and 99 teams. He's been around forever in the market. He'll be great to just set us up here, even though we don't know the matchup, but just what's going on right now. Not necessarily from a fan perspective. We've gotten that from you. We've gotten that from the callers and the listeners to the show, our family. I think he brings an interesting historical perspective to it. So I'm looking forward to talking to Ian O'Connor coming up at 3:45.
Well, Ian Begley's at 3:45.
What did I say?
Ian O'Connor.
Oh, you know what?
We love Ian O'Connor too, and I love that.
Here's.
But Bagels is coming on to give us, because he's right there in the press conferences and practice.
Here's what happened.
What happened?
This is why the communication breakdown.
Oh boy!
Right. Ian Begley's at 4.
Yeah,
right?
He had to change it.
So he had to change it. So Anthony was in my ear saying Ian at 3:45. So I thought maybe he got Ian O'Connor. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what we should do?
Looking back at that, it's my fault.
But you know what? Let's make a wrong a right.
You know what? I would have no problem.
Let's get IOC on now.
I would have no problem with that.
I'd love
to be able to get him on the 345. I don't know if Anthony can make that happen. So I heard Ian in my ear, and I even said Ian Begley, but he was at 4, so I just
right.
So he had to pivot. Okay,
lots of Ians,
but
let's get him on.
What is your take before we get to the calls coming up at 1-800-919-3776 on what happened last night in San Antonio?
It's been the series has kind of gone back and forth, and I hate to sound like that guy because it's not that guy Thursday. It's Fraud Alert Friday, by the way, everybody. So be ready for that at 4:30. But it does feel like if the Thunder aren't getting the cheap whistle, they struggle.
Yeah,
and they struggle with physicality. And when the officiating, and I said this, and the officiating allows the game to play out. And it's a playoff game, so your physicality's got to be part of it. But that was a big difference. And Zach Zarber was the ref last night, and that crew called it fair, but wasn't calling anything cheap. And so I'm telling you, I think that was a big part of why the series, depending on who's reffing it, and I hate that game to game, we don't know how it's going to play. But that and the fact that Wembanyama showed up 22 years old, Don, with a just he had a bad game and he made up for it. He was determined not to let the season end at home in that moment. This guy's going to be he already is special, but I'm telling you, like, if he's that way already mentally, he's going to be special for a long time.
And just from my perspective, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I've watched every Thunder game all year long, and I'm sure there's many times they've won when SGA doesn't hit his shots, but in the playoffs, they're cooked if he doesn't hit his shot.
And he's not playing well.
And he's
shooting
not playing
wise.
well. I mean,
yes.
He didn't. Well, what was it? It was only like 0 for 5 from 3. But the Knicks don't do this. We saw it in Game 1 against the Cavaliers. These teams shut it down, man. Sometimes it's like there was no pushback. It wasn't their night. Their shots weren't going down, and the Spurs just beat up on them. Like they knew there was going to be a Game 7. But now all bets are off, man. There is no game, 8. So you better play to the best of your ability. But man, I was just disappointed. I thought I'd see a classic game. I really did. But outside of a couple of games early on, it just seems like
the series is flip flop. Yeah, flip flopped in blowouts. I mean, a 20-0 run in a playoff game. The Knicks did that in Game 4. Against Cleveland. It's like 20-0 runs are ridiculous in the playoffs, but it happened, and the Spurs blew that game open. But I'm telling you, SGA did not have a good game. He wasn't getting his cheap fouls. He didn't get to the free throw line. That's a difference maker. They tried to play Jalen Williams, who has the hamstring injury. He did not look himself, but he tried to go. That's concerning. Chet Holmgren has not been great. I'm telling you, the 2 best players in the series for the Thunder have been Isaiah Hartenstein and Alex Caruso. Those 2 guys have been really good. It's hard to find someone who's been like Jared McCain has had some moments, but they haven't had one guy give them every night really, like their star has not been every single night. He's been bringing it, and that's a problem. And Wemby's had that issue too for the Spurs, but his supporting cast was much better. Of course, they're home, but I think the whistle had a lot to do with it. And that Game 7 whistle, Don, that's something to watch tomorrow night. That Game 7 whistle is going to decide who's going to be in the finals. Well, my prediction.
I don't doubt it. And you know what? What I've found in history, when you get a Game 7, they're going to err on the side of letting them play. That's what I think.
Yeah, you would
I don't think in a Game 7 with that kind of magnitude on a Saturday night, NBC, the officials aren't going to want to be a part of this thing.
You can't. Now, it could be Scott Foster, something to watch.
Yeah, that should be. So, and everybody will be watching here in New York.
He doesn't fall for the histrionics either, which would be very important. But hard to believe the defending champs will lose a Game 7 at home.
You wouldn't think it. You wouldn't think it, but stranger things have happened. They obviously know they won a Game 7 in the finals last year against the Pacers. So we'll see, and that's coming up on Saturday. And then we'll finally know at the end of that game where the Knicks are going on Wednesday. Your calls at 1-800-919-3776. Ian Begley from SNY is going to join us at 3:45. At 4:30, we've got Fraud Alert Friday.
Love it.
At 6 o'clock, we've got an ENN, which will be led, of course, by our guy, Anthony Pusick.
A Pusick vehicle.
And then at 6:30, it's the Mets and the Marlins. We're just getting started. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg on a gorgeous Friday here on ESPN New York.
The New York Knicks, the NBA Finals. Finally.
And the New York Knicks are on their way to the NBA Finals. For the first time since 1999, the Knicks are Eastern Conference champions.
This is your home for the Eastern Conference champion New York Knicks and the NBA Finals. This is ESPN New York.
The New York City Department of Correction offers countless career opportunities, from specialized units to leadership roles that support public safety and change lives for the better. It starts with one step: registering for the New York City Correction Officer exam. Earn over $109,000 after just 5.5 years. Benefits on day one, job security, pension at any age after 22 years of service. Go to nyc.gov/joinDOC or search Join DOC. One career, many opportunities. Registration ends today. Take the test.
FanDuel is giving you better payouts on same-game parlays all NBA playoffs long. With more ways to build and more value every time you play, you can stack your picks your way for every game, every matchup, and every moment. From spreads to player points to threes and more, build it all into one same-game parlay and go for bigger payouts. So if you're betting same-game parlays this NBA postseason, bet them on FanDuel. More options, better payouts, all NBA playoffs long. Head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. FanDuel is giving you better payouts on same-game parlays all NBA playoffs long. With more ways to build and more value every time you play, you can stack your picks your way for every game, every matchup, and every moment. From spreads to player points to threes and more, build it all into one same-game parlay and go for bigger payouts. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA. Play your game. 21 plus and physically present in New York. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
D'Agostino, law, bite back. Did you know that Social Security disability takes a bite out of every one of your paychecks? So when they deny your claim, bite back. I'm John D'Agostino from D'Agostino & Associates, and I'm proud to announce our first ever Social Security Disability webinar. It's happening on June 3rd at 1 o'clock. In just 1 hour, you'll learn your rights, understand the appeals process, and find out how our experienced SSD attorneys can help you get the benefits you've earned. Spots are limited, so don't wait. Register now by calling 1-800-BITE-BACK, 1-800-248-3222, or go online to daglawteam.com/SSD webinar. That's daglawteam.com/SSD webinar. D'Agostino Law is here to bite back, to fight back, to get you the SSD benefits you've earned. Register today at 1-800-248-3222.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
And now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Hey there, guys. Good afternoon and happy summer Friday, but not a happy ride on the Staten Island Expressway westbound. Ton of extra company heading over to the West Shore. Delays go back across the Verrazano into Brooklyn. Bumper to bumper on the Belt westbound from Flatbush Avenue. Also a crash on the Belt westbound in Queens over by Springfield Boulevard. You're hitting the brakes there from the Cross Island Southern State Split. Inbound George, still have construction on the upper deck and running about an hour from 80, 95, and 46. A little bit better from the Route 4 approach. All of your approaches to outbound George already packed. Cross Bronx westbound, crawling from the Bruckner on through. Outbound Lincoln already about 15 to 20. Outbound Hahn 20 to 30. This report is sponsored by True Green. Don't waste another weekend doing lawn care yourself. Partner with the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour and get a golf course quality lawn the easy way. Sign up today at truegreen.com. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
In a contracting business, you're either growing or you're grinding. Success is no longer about hard work alone. It's about using AI to accelerate impact. Service Titan is the only integrated intelligence that seamlessly automates your entire workflow, from first call to final invoice. Born in the trades, built for visionaries ready to stop operating and start automating. Service Titan, AI for the trades.
If Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea was your best friend, it would be the kind of friend that starts an impromptu dance party in the supermarket aisle that turns into an all-day pool party rager at your place, and you don't even own a pool. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea turns any day into a legendary adventure. It's smooth and refreshing real iced tea with just the right kick of alcohol. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Got some things to say.
I do, because with Xfinity, you already enjoy ESPN as part of your TV lineup with live games, daily sports coverage, and expert analysis. And now the ESPN Unlimited plan is available at no additional cost, giving you access to additional ESPN content in the ESPN app, on-demand programming, and originals to explore. Visit Xfinity.com/your subscriptions to activate ESPN Unlimited access. Then start watching in the ESPN app. More from ESPN, all in one place. Donnie?
Now, I had an epiphany before we get to the phone calls.
Epiphany?
Yeah, because the one thing that I took from doing the Devils this year was that I've got to do a better job with my wardrobe. I have to. I mean, and because I didn't realize it, but man, Danica, Rachel, and Sal, they bring it every night. And I thought what I had was nice, but I'm like, you know what? I think I can do better.
Okay.
So I said, I went. I chose a place today, and you're going to start seeing. I went nuts today.
Oh,
fact, yeah, and I got you and Peter something too. I went a little crazy. I went to Robert Graham. I don't know if you're familiar.
Well known, very well.
And Tony Monzo, who's a huge fan of the show, from Pittsburgh, but he's been living in the New York metropolitan area for a long time. He's a big Penguins fan. He listens to the show, and he listened to the K show, and now he listens to us. And he actually picked out an outfit for me for the Beach Bash.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so it's really looking good. So
I'm
be
excited
ready
now,
because I'm going to be breaking some of this stuff out. But I wanted to give them a shout out because they really took care. I just needed direction, man. And I ran into somebody that suggested Robert Graham. I went there today. They got a place over the Short Hills Mall.
I got a couple of ties from Robert Graham.
Wow. It's I needed, you know what I needed, Alan? I needed fashion. Like I needed a style. Like I got nice clothes, but it's not anything in particular. It's not a style. I mean, I've got some JCPenney stuff, for God's sakes.
Well,
you wouldn't know it.
It's your first year.
But those days are over, man. So
listen, we all went through
I went to work.
I love it. We all went through this. My first transition from a sports writer, which I never had to wear anything that nice, and neither could I afford, to being on TV. Like, my wife bought me 3 Banana Republic suits.
Right.
Right? Like, did nothing tailored, just got the sizes and all. And I had 3, and I just rotated blue, black, and charcoal. And I just kept rotating it. And I'm like, that's my first year on MSG, my first probably 2 years on MSG. That's kind of what it was until you start looking around and realizing, like, you know, people around here really dress well. And then, of course, you got Clyde Frazier to deal with.
Yeah, well, that's another level.
That's another level.
That's another tax bracket as well.
You know you're never getting there. So it takes a minute to kind of find your way, and then you find what you think is your style.
Well, that's it. I think I found it. I think I found it. I think I found my style.
I can't wait.
And I went nuts, and the reason I'm doing it now because the season. Well, the season's going to come quicker than expected because it's an 84-game season. So,
then did you get anything that's going to be made for you, tailored, any of that stuff?
Oh yeah, no, it's all being done.
Oh, okay.
And
Donnie's throwing it around.
No, I'm really throwing it around. I am. It's been it's great. It's great stuff. And because we've got with the Knicks going to the finals, we're going to be doing some stuff over the next couple of weeks. We're going to be out and about, and there's going to be a lot of different things we're going to be doing. And I want to at least attempt to be the best dressed of us 3. An attempt. I think you'll probably still win out anyway because it just looks better on you. But I'm gonna. You're gonna notice.
I don't think so.
You're gonna notice something.
I think I like this. I'm excited about this. While we're doing some stuff, can I? For those on YouTube, if you're looking at the shirt I've got on right now, Athlete Logos made this shirt. I love this shirt. So shout out to Athlete Logos. I think it's great. If you want one, go to their website because this is a very subtle homage to, of course, the greatest stage in basketball, the Mecca.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a pretty cool shirt. 1-800-919-3776. Let's get back to the phones. Let's talk to Eric in Westchester. You get us started here on Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg.
Hey guys, what's going on?
What's up, man?
Yeah, just real quick about the Knicks. So I have it on some inside information. Nothing more detailed than maybe something you guys had mentioned earlier. But inside information, can't reveal sources. But yeah, Mitch did hurt it at home. He is going to play. And, anything else is a smokescreen as far as his unavailability. He's going to stick it out. But, as far as it goes within the series, as far as I'm watching the games last night, the Spurs just look tough. And obviously
the Spurs are scary,
without
man.
Mitch against – yeah,
the Thunder
without
don't.
Mitch,
the Thunder don't scare you, but the Thunder are really good and well coached and deep. But there's something about how they're looking that feels, that you could overwhelm. I think the Spurs are they've got waves of guards, and they've got that guy, that kid. And
how
of
hard
course,
Vassell was playing last night.
Oh man, it was tough.
I like we got to be praying for an OKC win in Game 7 though.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? You'd rather take the think about this, Don, and I think about this. You'd rather face the defending champions than the first time in the playoffs team.
It's
because
interesting.
it shows you though where one versus the other.
Well, Eric, thank you for the phone call. I can't go there. I can't. They're the defending champions. They won a Game 7 last year.
With the other team's star popped his Achilles.
No, I get it. But they did win. They did win their first 8 games in the playoffs, and this Spurs team is a beast. All right, but yet they look like no-shows in their losses. And then you weren't. Listen, I can't speak for Eric, but I didn't hear these calls after Game 5 when the Thunder wiped the floor with the Spurs, and Wemby didn't even want to speak to the media after the game, and you're like, it looks like the Spurs are dead. And right, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
How are we going to feel after Game 7 if the Thunder win by 30?
We flip-flop every game, though. It's amazing because that's how this series is
Both
gone.
These teams are going to be animals. Honestly, I'm not saying the Knicks can't beat them, but they'd be a dog for a reason because I think both of these teams, and the reason that I think the Thunder look the way they look is because they're playing the Spurs. And when the Spurs look bad, it's because they're playing the Thunder. These are at least
260
technically two 60-win teams. Yes, 2 of the 3 best teams left in the NBA, and they happen to be playing each other. And the one thing that I'll say, again, not saying the Knicks can't win, but this is a major upgrade than what you faced in the first 3. It just is.
Of course it is.
So pick your poison, man. Can you at least say that? Pick your poison. You might like one after the other, but both of these taste bad.
Yes, you can make a case why both are scary. And my case for the Thunder being scary is less about matchup and more about the whistle. Whereas the case about the Spurs being scary is because while you played them 3 times this season, including in the NBA Cup, and you've had success against them, they just like you can say the Knicks aren't the same team, this Spurs team is not the same team.
No,
there's something like they have grown fast, way ahead of schedule.
Yeah,
and a lot of it has to do with the 7'5" Frenchman.
Let's go to Jose in Connecticut. You're on Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg.
Hey, what's up, guys? I had 2 things. First, I actually when I played sports in high school, I played baseball in high school. Sorry, I broke my pinky punching the wall, and I had to get surgery. It never healed correctly. My grip strength is bad. It's hard to throw a football. It was hard for me to grip a bat. It was never the same. So I'm a little worried about Mitch. And to my other point about that was, I'm even more worried after hearing about that it didn't happen in the game because. As you know, I think you guys mentioned, they spoke about his mental health issues, which you can tell he was not himself in that last series, and he spoke up about it. Yeah, and obviously, we got to respect mental health stuff, but that's clearly affected his game. And now I don't know what happened to him where he broke his hand or his finger. Now he has 2 things. And that's the one area I feel like as a Knicks, even though I think we have a really deep roster, the one area that we really can't afford to have is that backup center because we saw that game against the Sixers when he was out. We had nobody after Cat, and it was really hard for it. And that's my biggest concern because I agree with you, Alan. I think we can beat both of those. Those teams are not perfect. You can see the you can see they're not perfect. They do have some flaws, and I think we can match up and beat them. But this is, to me, is a big worry. Once I heard that, combined with the mental health, like I do think it might be a problem. So I hope I'm wrong, but I'm more concerned now after hearing about that.
I hope he locks in. That's what I'm thinking. Like, you have an injury like this. First of all, I can tell you this much, that the support he's getting from the 14 other guys in that locker room is exactly what he needs. And that's very important. Now, he has to be willing to receive that support and feel the amount of love that he's going to get here, because they all know how important he is.
Ian Begley from SNY will join us coming up next. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg till 6:30. Then it's Mets baseball on ESPN New York.
If you're trying to save money but still eat well, just go to Wild Fork Foods and thank me later. You get pork tenderloin for $2.50 a pound, ground turkey for $3 a pound, ground chorizo for only $4 a pound. Those are everyday staples at serious value, and it's all blast frozen, so you're not sacrificing quality. Plus, they've got over 450 options, 7 locations, or same-day delivery at wildforkfoods.com. Go check out Wild Fork Foods.
If you think a new central air conditioning system is out of your budget, think again. Sloman's is here to change the game with their preseason super sale. They're now offering cutting-edge 18-SEER 2026 refrigerant-compliant R45 4B systems, expertly installed by their certified technicians, all at the lowest prices of the year. That's right. Get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 18 months. Plus, they're including a comprehensive service plan for 5 years, including annual system checks, filter replacement, and refrigerant to keep your AC running smoothly all summer long. Call Sloman's today at 516-932-7000 for your free estimate. But hurry, these cool savings won't last. That's 516-932-7000 or visit ac.slomans.com. 18-month promo period, no payment, no interest, and no down payment offer. The offer is available through a third-party bank. On approved credit, interest is waived if loan is repaid in full during the same as cash period. Terms and conditions apply.
With the new MyLowe's Pro Rewards American Express card, earn 3 points per dollar spent on Lowe's qualifying purchases for the first 6 months after card account opening. Plus, save 5% every day on eligible purchases at Lowe's and earn points on eligible purchases everywhere else Amex is accepted. Card members get more at Lowe's. Subject to credit approval. 5% can't be combined with any other offer. Exclusions and restrictions apply. Points subject to loyalty terms at Lowe's.com/terms and credit reward terms at Synchrony.com/MLPRA-terms. Visit Lowe's.com/business credit.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
So it was the fourth quarter and we're down by 5. Sweat pouring down my face. Suddenly it hit me. If only I could wrap part of the towel around my forehead. And that's how I became the first basketball player to wear a headband.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code BOOST to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code BOOST to borrow up to $10,000. Use code BOOST to borrow up to $10,000.
You live for this. The wins, the losses, the slam dunks, and the buzzer beaters. The dream that this is your team's year. Hope, it's what keeps you coming back. So you represent with anticipation and with pride. Because when everything's on the line, your support means everything. That's why the NBA Store is here to support you. Check out the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
Done a great job covering the Knicks all year for SNY is Ian Begley, and he joins us here on Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. How are you, sir? Keeping busy?
Good, gentlemen. How we doing?
You must. I see Alan running around with like a chicken without a head. I'm sure you're in the same boat with this.
Yeah, you gotta sleep with one eye open apparently, and it's been fun, man. Like, well, this is why we do it, right? This is an exciting time for fans, interesting time for the centers on the team, and we'll see how it goes.
Bagels, I taught you. This is team no one sleeps. We sleep in July. Well, not even in July. You won't be sleeping in July either. Sleep in August.
Give me August, maybe.
Yeah.
August.
That's the job, baby. That's the job. But you're right though. This is special times, and things have gone so well for this team for the entire month of May that anyone who has followed this team as long as you and I have knows that you're just waiting for, okay, when's that other shoe going to drop? Something's going to happen at some point because it's just going too well. The news of Mitchell Robinson's pinky gets out. What exactly do you know start to finish? Where are we right now with his availability as well?
Right. So this happened between Game 4 and the Knicks' return to practice. It did not happen. It's non-basketball related. It didn't happen on the basketball court. Once it happened and the Knicks found out about it, Robinson had surgery. Robinson didn't practice today. He, as I've been saying, is going to keep pushing to play. He's going to want to play. There's I think hope internally that he will be able to play Game 1. But I think you have to take it day by day. But certainly, really, really big blow for the Knicks, and people kind of dismiss it as just a pinky. I think it's like a hand pinky thing, but this is a player who rebounds the ball, who finishes alley-oops, and both of those things are going to be a little bit more difficult now with whatever they put on his hands to play, assuming he gets back. So, yeah, not great news no matter how you look at it for the Knicks.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, will there be some sort of apparatus on his pinky or on his hand when he comes back and plays?
I'm sure it'll be something. Because, surgically repaired and you're going out there, what are we talking about, 6, 7, 8 days after the surgery. So, yeah, he's going to have something on there. I don't know exactly what it'll look like, but it'll compromise his ability to catch the ball. And he's not a jump shooter, so that at least is good.
Well, we don't know exactly what happened, or it hasn't been made public what happened, but it's not Jason Pierre-Paul with fireworks. But if you remember that, and he had the glove, the Giants went on to win the Super Bowl. So maybe there could be a little symmetry there, right?
Look at that. Well, I'll give you another one. Amari Stoudemire, the fire extinguisher in Miami.
Sure. Yeah.
That did not go as well.
No.
For the Knicks at that point in time. But hey, it's an interesting connection. I appreciate it.
When it comes to, though, the rest of the team, Bagels, I know something that Karl-Anthony Towns said after Game 4 is we're going to get with the coaching staff, and whatever we did in the 9 days off before the conference finals, we're not going to do that again because they know they got away with one in Game 1. They did not play well for 3 quarters, but they were able to turn it on when it mattered most and steal that win, which is what led to the sweep. What do you know about, or if you know anything about, the approach that they're going to have during this break?
So, yeah, I was up there today at practice, and I was asking about it, and they were light on details. Karl Towns did say that they did scrimmage some in that first kind of layover, and there would be, just a kind of a greater attention to detail in this second one. But as far as the things that are totally different between the first one and the second one, I'm not sure because they're not really talking about it. I don't think that there had been, obviously you're coming off that series, so I would be surprised if there was like heavy scrimmaging early on in this week. Maybe they get to it a little bit as you get closer to Wednesday, and that's initially what I was wondering about Robinson. Did it happen in some kind of a scrimmage setting? And it did not. It happened off the floor.
I had suggested kind of in passing, Alan will tell you last week when they had the long layoff going into the conference final, why not get out of Dodge? Go rent a couple of courts in New Hampshire. Just get away from the chaos and all the nuts and everything that's going on. Do you think that was ever batted around or even considered to just get out of all the mayhem that's going on in this city right now?
It's interesting. I mean, I don't know if it was considered. I think, the performance staff, and everything they have at the training facility to help these guys recover. I would assume you want to stay near that stuff, so I would assume that's a factor. I don't know if it was considered, but I just have to think that as important as that medical staff, training staff is, everything they have set up at that facility, I think you want to be near that and using that as much as you can.
So this team, it makes this run, and I know by now you know the story about last year when they lost in the conference finals. After exit interviews, the players got together, had this party in the city. The theme was Finals 2026. A former player told me that this should be back-to-back finals appearances, that they really feel like they let one go last year. He was criticized for it. Pictures got out. Nobody was happy about the pictures getting out. But it was criticized because it was right after Tibbs was let go. It looked like they were partying because Tibbs was let go, which we all know is not the fact. But the fact that they got here at this point, while New York City is celebrating this, all Knicks fans are celebrating this because this is the first time in 27 years. Being around the team, what's the vibe you get from them?
It's not a celebratory vibe. Carl Towns talked about it in the locker room. They said, hey, let's get back to work. Let's figure out how to handle this layover in a different way than we did the first time. And so these guys, Alan, they're locked in a way that I haven't seen really probably since I've been covering a team in the NBA. Just the idea that it's totally we over me at this point. And Josh Hart made an interesting point after, I think it was Game 4, just saying like, hey, if you're upset about shots, you're upset about your inclusion in the offense, you're upset about touches, that's a regular season thing. But once you get to this point, everybody's just locked in on winning. And he wasn't mentioning a specific player, but I have to look at Mikal Bridges, and just his focus on both ends of the floor is just remarkable. And so these guys have taken it to another level. They're not patting themselves on the back. They're not going after any clubs. I think they're locked in on what's next.
Talking to Ian Begley from SNY as the Knicks get ready for the NBA Finals starting on Wednesday. After Tibbs got let go, and you saw they go after Jason Kidd, they go after Billy Donovan, and almost like they settled on Mike Brown, which gave the vibe of anybody but Tibbs to coach this team. So I'll ask you, would this be happening with any other coach, or did Mike Brown bring something, a formula, that he's been able to capitalize on that we're not sure other coaches would have been able to do?
It's a great question. The one thing I would say is there's a humility with Mike Brown, and there's a willingness to listen to different opinions, different voices, change your thinking based on what's happening in front of you and what you're hearing. The offense that he wanted to run with this team coming into the season was vastly different to what they're doing now. They obviously made that change after Game 3, that loss in Game 3 in Atlanta. The defense has changed. He's taken input from coaches, players, I'm assuming also front office people on how to proceed. And, the Josh Hart coming off the bench to start the season, he quickly went another way, and then the Knicks took off. So I think it's a openness to making changes on the go. And I can't say if every coach would or wouldn't do that, other coaches would or wouldn't do that, but they found, to me, a very good fit into what they had here, which was a veteran locker room, a group that knew mostly how to play together, and then give Brown all the credit in the world for getting them to that next level.
All right, Ian, so we know now about Mitchell Robinson's situation. They've really only had to deal with, and we know everybody's got, everybody's banged up. We know Josh dealt with a lot of stuff during the regular season and now in the postseason as well. But OG Anunoby's hamstring was really the only other thing during the playoffs that we know about, at least, that was concerning. He missed 2 games. Where's he at right now as far as you know, and is there anything else to keep an eye on with this team?
Yeah, he spoke after practice today. We didn't get to see, we saw like 2 seconds of practice. I don't know how he's looking on the court. But in terms of how he's talking about everything, he seems just as locked in as he always is. And he seems to me just excited to get out to wherever they're going, San Antonio or Oklahoma City. And if you looked at how he had played, I think there was a progression there. And maybe the numbers didn't jump out to you if you're just looking at the box score, but if you're watching the games, the way he was moving and the way that his shot started to fall, I think was significant. And it told you that he I think he's feeling good. I think he's in rhythm and he's in a good place.
It's amazing the time. I'm sorry, Donnie. It just to follow up on what Bagel said here. It's amazing the amount of time they've gotten between these series, and it just shows you how important it was, right? Like, things have to break your way to go on a run, and this, getting the street, like not wasting time, not messing around, playing with your food, like Don always says. Like this has also been a huge part of the story of this run to the finals, is that this time off in between series.
There's no doubt. I mean, look, you want to thank somebody. Thank our old friend R.J. Barrett, who knocked that shot down in Toronto to force a Game 7 in that series, and it forced everything to go a little bit longer, and it probably put you, if you're the Knicks, in better position to do what you did. And, yeah, the rust versus rest is always a debate. We saw the rust Game 1 Eastern Conference Finals. I'm curious to see what it looks like once they get into the finals, but you would, if you had to choose one over the other, I'm sure you prefer to have some rest here as opposed to doing what Cleveland just did, which was the gauntlet of 7-game series and another 7-game series, and then you're out of gas.
All right, I know you're up against it, but really quick, who do you think they match up better against, the Thunder or the Spurs?
Depends on the injury report to me. I mean, Jalen Williams coming back was significant. So if everyone's healthy across the board, A.J. Mitchell's playing for OKC. I'm going to say San Antonio. I don't want to cop out and say injuries are a big factor, but they will be. And so, yeah, I think I'm there. I'm San Antonio, but if Mitchell can come back, that would be big for the Thunder.
All right, thanks a lot, Ian. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, fellas. Take care.
Ian Begley doing a great job covering the Knicks. We're going to take your calls at 1-800-919-3776. We got Fraud Alert Friday coming up at 4:30. We got to talk about the Giants, another injury that they suffered. Also, Jaxson Dart spoke. We'll hear that during ENN coming up at 6 o'clock. And then at 6:30, it's the Mets and the Marlins. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg hanging out with you on a Friday on ESPN New York.
Hey, this is Jalen Brunson. What's up, Knicks fans? This is Josh Hart. Knicks fans, it's Mikal Bridges, and this is your home for New York Knicks basketball. This is 880 ESPN and the ESPN New York app.
Partner with Amazon Hub Delivery to earn extra revenue for your business with your business. Assist with local Amazon deliveries and get paid for each package you deliver. When you become a partner, you and your staff will deliver packages to customers in your area on a schedule that works for you. You'll gain extra revenue, increase exposure for your business, and connect with your neighbors. Plus, it's easy to get started with no delivery experience, long-term contracts, or startup costs required. If you're interested in learning more, visit Amazon.com/Hub Delivery. That's Amazon.com/HUB Delivery.
North Brunswick, get ready. Boost Mobile by Tuvaz is throwing down with the grand opening at their newest spot in Brunswick Shopping Center. Join them Friday, May 29th from 2 to 6 p.m. with food, prizes, and giveaways that you don't want to miss. That's Boost Mobile at Brunswick Shopping Center in North Brunswick. We'll see you there.
The New York City Department of Correction offers countless career opportunities, from specialized units to leadership roles that support public safety and change lives for the better. It starts with one step: registering for the New York City Correction Officer exam. Earn over $109,000 after just 5.5 years. Benefits on day one, job security, pension at any age after 22 years of service. Go to nyc.gov/joinDOC or search Join DOC. One career, many opportunities. Registration ends today. Take the test.
Did your dog just get groomed? She's got a pep in her step.
Actually, she's gotten famous. She's one of 18 dogs on the New Jersey Dog Scratch-Offs from the New Jersey Lottery.
What?
Yeah, New Jersey voted, and 18 dogs were chosen.
Well, look at her.
It's gone to her head a bit.
Play the New Jersey Dog Scratch-Offs, featuring 18 real New Jersey dogs and a top prize of $200,000.
Oh, are you a famous doggy? Yes, you are.
Must be 18 or older to buy a lottery ticket. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is a special notice to U.S. taxpayers owing $10,000 or more to the IRS. Tax Relief Advocates is urgently notifying taxpayers that tax relief initiatives are now available that may significantly reduce or eliminate what you owe. If you're afraid of an IRS lien, levy, or wage garnishment, don't lose hope. You can now take advantage of these current relief programs to end all collections, reduce the amount you owe, and resolve your tax problem. Even if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are already in a payment plan, you may still qualify for significant relief. Struggling taxpayers can now get relief they need during these hard economic times. A hotline has been established by tax relief advocates for you to call and see what you qualify for. They are A+ rated with the BBB and have over 1,000 5-star reviews. Don't wait. Call 800-575-9087. 800-575-9087. That's 800-575-9087 or simply visit TRA.com.
This is your home for the Eastern Conference champion New York Knicks and the NBA Finals. WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
Game Time is brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, Alan.
It's Tully time. It's Tully time.
Mets start a series with the Marlins over at Citi Field. That'll be following us here on 880 at 6:30, and the Yankees visit the Athletics at 9:40 in Sacramento. K's out there for the call, by the way. We had gotten false information that he was not going to go to Sacramento, but he is out there. And
I like the reference, Sacramento. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Absolutely. If you're scoring at home, Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cast matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew or try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. The other thing going on tonight is Game 5 between the Canadians and the Hurricanes.
Let's go.
It would hit a little different if this game was in Montreal after the passing of Claude Lemieux, but it's in Raleigh, but I'm sure TNT is going to cover it very well. I got to speak to Danico today, and he's just devastated. He was very close to Claude Lemieux. In case if you missed it yesterday, died by suicide. He's found by his son, which is I never saw which son. They didn't say Brendan, so I am assuming it wasn't Brendan Lemieux, former Ranger, former King, played in the National Hockey League. But just a really sad story. And I didn't think I knew it, but I didn't think about it at the time. But I was listening to Grassa driving home last night. I don't know if you know the stat. How many players have scored more points in the postseason than Claude Lemieux in the history of the National Hockey League?
I haven't heard this stat, but I'm sure it's not a big number then.
It's 7.
Is it? I was going to say, if it's single digits, it's wow. It says a lot about. I mean, look, this guy won a cup in his rookie season.
So clutch.
Patrick Waugh had an emotional statement about it. They were teammates back then in '86. And I know Dano. I saw some of the stuff Dano was saying. I love that he calls him Pepe. He doesn't even call him Claude. Like that just shows you again. It's just, it's tough. It's tough.
There were people.
It's hard to talk about.
I was looking at social media. Bruin fans, Red Wing fans, who despised him when he played, but just respected that he just leaned into it. You know, it shows you. Listen, he did a lot of just like nasty things on the ice, but it's who he was. He was never a fraud about it. You know what I mean? Like he's
an agitator.
This was his job. He did it. He did it well.
Right.
And then when he needed to score, when the team needed him the most, think about it. He's not in the Hall of Fame. We'll never get into the Hall of Fame, although you can make a case he should go. Just for the fact that he's 8th in scoring in the postseason in NHL history. 4 Stanley Cups with 3 different teams. It's just incredible stuff. But I just wanted to bring that up because that is the game tonight in Raleigh, Game 5.
I'm sure they'll do something pregame for sure.
TNT does a great job with it, and they understand.
But even
the
before
moment.
the game, you'd think in the arena they'll do something.
Yeah, Bush played with him. Eddie O played against him. So did Bush, and then you look at the panel that's on there. I think Anson Carter definitely crossed paths with him during his career, and I'm sure Bissonnette I think did. Because Claude made that comeback in the 08-09 season with the Sharks. I think Bissonnette was in Phoenix at that time. But either way, I mean, if they didn't play against him, I'm sure they know of him.
Everybody knows him,
and I'm sure there'll be tributes galore during that broadcast. I give Montreal none chance to win that game. It's men against boys in that series. The Hurricanes are just
it's amazing
so much better.
Not to go off on a tangent on it, but it's just because we're talking about it. It really blew my mind that they didn't get a shot on goal in the third period at home in a critical game to win until how much time was it? 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Like they had 11 shots on goal at one point. and it was like 24-11. Absolutely dominated at home. And so, yeah, I'm with you. Kane's going to the Cup final, and that's going to be an interesting, a very interesting Cup final. And would you say it's Carolina's time?
It is
Vegas
Carolina.
A team of destiny?
Well, I'm rooting for Torts, and I have no love for Raleigh. I love Raleigh. I'm sorry. I have no love for the Hurricanes. and a lot of that just comes from the fact that I'm a broadcaster, and I thought the way they did with Chuck Caton and John
That's
Forsland
ownership,
was
though,
criminal.
and it's, by the way, the same owner as the new owner of the Portland Trailblazers, and you're seeing all the same stuff happening up there.
Same stuff is happening, letting things go and all that going on the cheap or whatever, but that shouldn't affect the players and Rod Brindamore, who's a class act and all that. And I do hear a lot of rumblings that, Vegas is going to take on Carolina and the ratings are going to be bad. We heard the same thing in the NBA last year when it was Oklahoma City and Indiana.
And you got an epic series.
You got an epic series. But listen, the ratings are going to be affected, right? Because they're not small market teams necessarily, but again,
they're not major markets.
They're not major hockey markets, and they're not.
And there's
dead
no
sexy.
Superstars.
Listen, Eichel's a really good player.
Yeah,
and
but he's
Marner's
not.
a good
You
player.
know, Don. The box office guys aren't playing.
You're right.
In this
I mean,
thing.
listen, that's the case, right?
But
and
every
you're
sport,
absolutely right.
every sport deals with this. And by the way, baseball, we'll get to it at some point. Baseball will be dealing with this at some point too. They're going to, and actually, I thought they did with the Texas, Texas-Arizona World Series.
Yes,
they're going to have. This happens sometimes. The only sport that isn't affected by two non-traditional or not major market teams in the championship is the NFL. Everybody else deals with it. It's not a criticism. People need to leave it alone, and it could end up being really good hockey.
But my point is that hockey still is growing in certain markets, right? I mean, one of the reasons hockey is not as popular is because there's pockets in this country where hockey is just not a thing.
Yeah.
And not that long ago, hockey was not a thing in Raleigh, and it was not a thing in Vegas.
Yeah.
And I was reading it, like there's pop-up rinks in Raleigh now. Kids are playing hockey in the street.
Absolutely.
So 30 years ago, they had no idea what color a puck was, and now they love the sport. And they're loving it in Vegas, and that's how you grow a sport. Then you can get to a point where now it's being played everywhere. Baseball doesn't need to grow. It's been around for so long. Hockey needs moments like this. So, yeah, it'll affect the ratings. I'm sure that us here at ABC ESPN are not thrilled to see these two markets play each other. Everybody would love to see the Bruins, play the Chicago Blackhawks every year. Yeah. But this really does grow the sport, and it does help to have these on occasion.
Listen, my daughter played in a girls' tournament out in Vegas in February, and it was phenomenal. The Golden Knights were involved in it. It was an NHL-sponsored kind of thing for girls hockey, and her team, which was an Islanders-sponsored team, won the championship. They won the gold medal. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that they noticed was there were a lot of rinks because they didn't play in one rink. They played in different rinks, and they had to go around the area outside of Vegas, and it was surprising to see so many rinks, and they were all pretty new, all because the Knights showed up 9 years ago. Hockey kind of started to become a thing, and now it's because of their success, I would say, right? It's become a sport that a lot of kids want to try and a lot of kids want to play, and it's done very well. So, it should be a good Cup final. The Carolina's still got to win one more game to get there, and they could get it done tonight.
Yeah, and that's going to start on Thursday. We know the NBA finals with the Knicks and either the Spurs or the Thunder will begin on Wednesday. Let's get back to the busy phones at 1-800-919-3776. Talk to Dennis in Center Reach. You're on ESPN New York.
Hey, Don. Hey, Alan. Happy Friday. Don, real quick, I'm sorry to go off topic. You said before the break, Jaxson Dart spoke. I went and read a little bit of it. Man, this story is ridiculous. I can't wait to hear you guys' opinion on it because it's insane.
I've got opinions on it, I can tell you that.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm hoping you and me agree on it because it's ridiculous, and I can't believe it's gone this far. The Knicks, I want you guys' opinion on this. So I went back and I looked back in NBA history, and if the Knicks win a championship, they would be only the second team ever to the 2020 Lakers to have a starting five of players that none of the players in the lineup are drafted by the team. And I look at teams like Oklahoma City and San Antonio, and like San Antonio, I'm not even impressed by their team because of the lottery luck that they've had. Like Wembanyama, number 1 pick, no doubter. Dylan Harper, number 2 pick. Vassell or was number 4. But like an idiot. One of us could have drafted that team. I don't think they're impressive. Oklahoma City has a lot of draft picks. They made some great trades, but these players really fell into their lap for luck of a really great trade. But the Knicks, you look at all these individual moves and the pieces that they've done over the course of the last 5 years, getting Brunson, trading Anunoby for Anunoby, and Josh Hart, all these guys, this is the perfect team. And I honestly think if they win this championship, they're going to go down as one of the best teams ever just because of the journey that it's taken to get to this point.
It's an interesting point because the way you were kind of presenting it, Dennis, and thank you for the phone call, was that's usually a negative, right? Oh, they bought their players. They went out and had to acquire players. They didn't draft them. They didn't do it the right way. But he meant it as a compliment, and I know what he's saying. And that 2020 Laker team, let's be honest, that was the COVID bubble title.
Right.
So you could
that
make the
LeBron
case.
and AD, though.
Right. And
superstars.
But there is something to say that, listen, the reason they didn't build through the draft is they didn't have the picks. A lot of times because the history of the Knicks was trading away those picks.
On the contrary, though, how did they build the team? They had drafted players, and they traded them. R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel quickly turned into the most important trade out of all, right?
Yeah.
The most important trade of all was OG Anunoby.
And also...
And so they traded away two guys they took in the first round and looked like they were developing, were part of the first playoff team that they had in 7 years, right? And then they made a choice to take these young assets and turn them into a player that could help them get to a championship level. Josh Hart was they traded Cam Reddish, who was a lottery pick, not by the Knicks, but another team. But Cam Reddish was a player a lot of Knicks fans were hoping they could develop into something special. He never really hit. They turned that into Josh Hart. Are you kidding me? Cam Reddish, I don't know if he's in the league anymore, Don.
People look at draft picks as,
they
you
did
could
build this team.
Well, that's the thing is that you could look at draft picks, you could select players with those picks who become great, or you could take those picks and trade them for a player, right? Or you could draft a player and then take that player and then trade them.
Right.
Trades are part of it.
I say it's the currency of hope.
And that's why I will never look at a team, they bought that team because they made trade. First of all, it's a salary cap league, so you can't necessarily buy championships the way you can in baseball. Yeah. But still, that's shrewd, right? To be able to make trades. Free agency's kind of easy sometimes, right? Especially if you're in an attractive place to go and play, where maybe that's not a lot of heavy lifting by a general manager to go sign somebody. But to make trades, that's part of building a team. And I think it's fascinating. Where I thought he was going to go, was where would this championship rank as far as New York? Because we've always talked about, there's something about the 69 Mets. There's something about the 86 Mets. There's something about the 96 Yankees, right? The 73 Knicks. There's something, or maybe it was more the 70 than the 73, that kind of just mean more to the city. This would have to be up there, Alan. And again, I don't want to count my chickens just yet. We're still 4 wins away. But if they were able to do this, man, it would rank near the top, if not at the top.
Yeah, we'll see how it all plays out, of course. But yes, there's always those teams that you bring up as ones. Look, when you win 11 straight playoff games,
or however many it might be if they win the title.
Well, right, but 11 straight is still a ridiculous number, and that's just one of those things that makes it a special run, which is why it just feels like it's got to end with the trophy. It just gotta, because that really is the cherry on top. That's what makes it. That's what makes it legendary. That's what will make it legendary. Winning a championship is legendary alone, but doing it with a run like this, that's what makes it truly legendary. But I do love the story, though, of how the team was built, and that it wasn't simply. And I've said this. Once the Knicks stopped chasing stars and started just building a team, that's when things turned for them. And hopefully, it's a lesson to be learned going forward. And that you even Towns was a number 1 overall pick, Don. Number 1 overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
They have one number overall pick on the roster, and it's him. And they got him because of a player they signed in Julius Randle, pivoting from Kevin Durant. They couldn't get Kevin Durant, so they signed Julius Randle. I know Stephen A. was on with us the other day, and he kept talking about the pivot from KD was Brunson, and a lot of people were upset that I didn't correct them. I'm not going to correct the guy in the middle of a point, but we all know the pivot was to Julius Randle. And Randle, to his credit, at least helped, along with Tom Thibodeau, pulled the Knicks out of a malaise and got them to the postseason. But the sense was it wasn't enough to win a championship. And that's what they turned Julius Randle into Karl-Anthony Towns. They turned Barrett and Quickly into OG Anunoby. They turned a whole bunch of draft picks that who knew what their value would have been as you're winning and having pick 22 and pick 24. They turned those into Mikal Bridges. Like the little things they've done, while also they drafted Deuce McBride, developed him. They drafted Mitchell Robinson. Not they, years ago, somebody else drafted him, but they kept him around and they developed him into a critical piece. Like these are the types of things that you don't often see when a team builds. Normally it's like the Bucks. They drafted Giannis. They made a trade for Chris Middleton. They made a trade for Drew Holiday. Like the way they built that team, but they had a centerpiece that was a draft pick that you knew was going to become a great player. The Celtics drafted Brown and Tatum and then put pieces around them.
Oh.
This team was literally built from almost scratch. The two guys that were the long-term Knick players that were drafted by the franchise are bench quality, but bench quality players, not starters.
I do give Milwaukee credit. Giannis was taking like 15, so it wasn't your traditional like first overall pick. He was taken in the midway point of the first round. Same thing with Curry, where he was drafted too.
Yeah.
Like I understand what the caller was saying about the luck. I mean, listen, San Antonio's first run was based on the luck of getting David Robinson and then getting Tim Duncan.
And then being so bad, they get Tim Duncan because the lottery balls went their way. The year that Boston tried to tank, the first story of tanking in the NBA, the first true story was the Boston Celtics. And it was Rick Pitino. That's the famous, Larry Bird's not walking through that door and all that stuff. Yep. They were really bad, and they thought they were going to win that lottery and get Tim Duncan. It didn't happen.
Did not happen. 1-800-919-3776. Tony's in Dobbs Ferry. You're on Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg.
You're on. Fellas, you can't be more right. The gentleman who just called in, he couldn't be more right. The Knicks have missed on so many draft picks. The list just goes on. I mean, Frank Ntilikina, Jordan Hill, Frederick Weiss from back in the days.
Bad decisions.
I mean, these guys, when I think about them, I get nauseous. And now you look at these teams that have been perennial contenders for the past few years. The Nuggets got Jokic. OKC got SGA and Holmgren.
Well, Jokic was a second-round pick. But just to correct you, Jokic was a second-round pick. Nobody knew what he was going to be. Like that,
but
nobody knew what he was going to be.
They hit on him.
They hit on a second-round pick, though. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, but the point of what I'm saying is that if you remember when Leon Rose and Worldwide West were presented to us as fans, we were sold on their relationships in the league behind the scenes,
stars,
and their ability to attract players
That's right.
to Madison Square Garden.
That's right.
And for a long time, that didn't come to fruition. Okay, and a lot of people were upset, myself included. And Alan, I've been listening to you for a long time. I know you were pretty pissed off too. So now that here we are, and we're finally Eastern Conference champions with the chance to, win a championship, God willing, you have to give these guys some credit, man, because look at how it was done. It's very this isn't, the NBA is a league where if you miss on draft picks, you're in trouble. You just are. Look at the Bulls. Look at my brother's a Bulls fan.
Well, that's why you don't want to tank. That's why tanking makes me sick, because it's the trust the process, and it ends up not working out anyway. And, Tony, I don't know if you're willing to go there, but since you're giving so much praise to Leon Rose and Worldwide West, and rightly so, you also have to give credit to Jim Dolan for hiring those guys and going in that direction. I know a lot of Knick fans don't want to give love to Jim Dolan, but you have to give him credit, right?
You 100% have to give him credit. I told you when he rolled these guys out, those were the promises made, and for years, unfortunately, those promises weren't kept. But guess what? Here we are. And I want to ask you one question before I hang up. And This is kind of pivoting to another subject, but it's bothering me. I'm a big Giants fan. I know you are too. What are we going to do with Abdul Carter, man? He's killing me. I mean, he's done literally everything wrong. since he's gotten the building, starting with asking for LT's number, he put the Giants and LT in such a bad position
and Phil
by
Simms.
doing that. And Phil Simms.
He wanted
the
11
greatest
too.
player in the history of the franchise.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'll
Then
tell you,
he calls
Tony.
out-
You're right, Tony, because we're up against it. But thank you. That was a terrific call. These last two calls have been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, no, we're killing it today. It's
really
great. Good Friday
appreciate
so
it.
far.
But honestly, we're going to get to an E&N. It's a story. We haven't dodged the story. It just there's been so much going on. We wanted to own the Knicks because they're in the NBA Finals, for God's sakes.
And Don, you and I both could agree. Like, we both kept looking at the Giants, Abdul Carter, Jaxson Dart story as going like, this is what are we doing here? Like, this is stupid.
But Dart spoke, and it's going to be an E&N story. But we weren't dodging it. There was other things going on. I knew we would get to it eventually. I've been chomping at the bit to talk about this, but today seems like the right time. But with everything going on with the Knicks, because it's one of those stories, and the reason we're doing it at E&N, it's one of those stories that, quite frankly, once you open up that box, you can't close it, and then it becomes the show. And I don't think that's fair to the Knicks, and I don't think that's fair to the people that don't care about it. And it's not a political conversation to me at all. It will be perceived as a political conversation, but to me it's not. But we will have it coming up. Let's squeeze in William in Hempstead. You're on ESPN New York. What's up, Will?
Gentlemen, how you guys doing? I am a die-hard Knicks fan. I mean, I dusted my tickets back in the playoff time in 98 and 99 and 94. And I would love to go to the game this year, but with those prices, I'd rather listen to you guys on ESPN. But my question to you guys is, everybody was rating, Brunson and them for the greatest Knicks player of all time. How would you rate these following people? Mike Brown, Jeff Van Gundy, Pat Riley, as far as coaches.
Well, William, I had brought this up earlier. Remember, Alan was like during a meeting, I'm like, if they win the title, it's gonna be Holtzman, Riley, Van Gundy, and Brown. Like it.
Well, let me stop you there. It's going to be Holtzman, Mike Brown.
But when
Joe
you talk
Lapchick,
about
then Pat Riley.
Right. Well, from a championship standpoint, but I'm sorry, not Jack Riley. Riley is going to be somebody that is going to be looked upon as a great coach for the Knicks, right?
Yes.
And getting them to as far as they went. And Van Gundy too.
He got him to the NBA Finals,
right?
Because
right now Mike Brown's. But
you win a title, you're right there with Red. Like I'm sorry. Like, first of all, Mike Brown will be here for a while, so he's not going anywhere for clearly. Second of all, you win a title when he's done. Red's got a banner. Mike will have a banner.
No, it's interesting just because what Riley did before and after the Knicks.
Yeah.
Van Gundy. Not much before it was an assistant, not much after, but Brown did go to a finals, so he does have a resume coming in, and let's see where this all ends up going. But I know it feels like strange because of what Van Gundy's meant to us, what Riley's meant to us, and going back to Lapchick and to Holtzman and what they mean. Yeah. But Mike Brown deserves to be there. And listen, we still have a whole round to go.
Oh, yeah, no.
But it will age very well for him if they're able to win that title. We'll see.
It's the Joe Torre thing. It really
is a Joe Torre
thing. Joe Torre thing. It's quite amazing, and it still has to come to fruition. Mm-hmm. But it's trending that way, and knowing Mike Brown, it couldn't have happened to a better person.
No, that's awesome.
And it's really fun to see.
All right, 1-800-919-3776 is always the number. Coming up next, Fraud Alert Friday. It's Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg till 6:30. Then it's Mets baseball on ESPN New York.
The New York Knicks, the NBA Finals. Finally.
And the New York Knicks are on their way to the NBA Finals. For the first time since 1999, the Knicks are Eastern Conference champions.
This is your home for the Eastern Conference champion New York Knicks and the NBA Finals. This is ESPN New York.
Replacing your home's AC system isn't exactly pocket change. Let's be real. Most people don't have thousands of dollars just lying around. And that's why Sloman's makes staying cool affordable. Right now, Sloman's central air conditioning makes it easier than ever to upgrade without blowing your budget. Get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0% financing for up to 18 months. Plus, every new system comes with a 5-year all-inclusive service plan, including annual system maintenance, filter replacements, and refrigerant. So there are no surprise costs down the road. Whether your system is outdated, your electric bills are through the roof, or your AC finally called it quits, Sloman's has a solution that works and a payment plan that actually makes sense. Call 516-932-7000. That's 516-932-7000. Or visit ac.slomans.com to schedule your free estimate today. Sloman's Central Air Conditioning. Because comfort shouldn't come with a price you can't afford. 18-month promo period. No payment, no interest, and no down payment offer. The offer is available through a third-party bank. On approved credit, interest is waived if loan is repaid in full during the same as cash period. Terms and conditions apply.
Some stages celebrate. This one tests everything. Every drive, every approach, every putt. Pressure builds, resilience matters, and history waits for the bold. In June, the 2026 U.S. Open Championship returns to the Hamptons at the iconic Shinnecock Hills Golf Club. Experience the world's best golfers as they compete on one of the sport's most storied stages. Daily tickets are available now on SeatGeek. Don't just watch greatness. Experience it live at the 126th U.S. Open.
Wherever your day takes you, across New Jersey, into New York, or down to Philadelphia, New Jersey Transit gets you there. Skip the traffic and stay on track. With busy travel periods ahead, plan ahead, check schedules, and allow extra time for your trip. From workdays to weekends, New Jersey Transit keeps your routine moving with reliable, convenient service. Ride smart. Plan your trip at njtransit.com.
Hey, this is Jalen Brunson. What's up, Knicks fans? This is Josh Hart.
Knicks fans, it's Mikal Bridges,
and this is your home for New York Knicks basketball. This is 880 ESPN and the ESPN New York app.
When care matters most, experience matters more. The Allure Group is redefining rehabilitation and long-term care across New York with 6 convenient locations. Their expert clinicians create personalized care plans to help you recover, rebuild, and get back to what matters most. From short-term rehab to long-term care, Allure is committed to comfort, dignity, and results. To learn more, visit allurecare.com. The Allure Group, where care meets compassion.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNNewYorkContests.com. That's ESPNNewYorkContests.com.
Now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Thanks so much, guys. We've got the Mets home tonight over at Citi Field. Also, fireworks night. If you're getting a jump start at the Whitestone Bridge, you're stop and go there from the Bronx side heading into Queens. Slow crawl on the Meadowbrook southbound in Nassau County. A crash in the left lane right before the Southern State. Jam there from the Roosevelt's Field Mall. Only easy way to the outbound George Henry Hudson, West Side Highway northbound. Stop and go from the 79th Street Boat Basin. Inbound George Upper Deck going to run you about 40 to 50 minutes from 8095. Lower level about a 20 to 30 minute ride. Outbound Lincoln will run you 30 minutes. Outbound Holland 45 plus. And New Jersey Transit rail service back up and running into Penn Station, New York with 60-minute delays. This report is sponsored by True Green. Don't waste another weekend doing lawn care yourself. Partner with the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour and get a golf course quality lawn the easy way. Sign up at truegreen.com. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code TRACK to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code TRACK to borrow up to $10,000. Use code TRACK to borrow up to $10,000.
Did you or someone you know participate in fraudulent fan behavior?
I'm a fraud with a capital F.
Is your friend a fraud?
I have been a complete and utter fraud.
Are you a fraud?
What is fraud?
Let's ask Don McGregor.
Screw! Go scratch yourself!
Brought to you by D'Agostino Law.
That's right. It's now time for Fraud Alert Friday, brought to you by the aforementioned D'Agostino Law. And with Peter Rosenberg out in Italy with the WWE, it gives a chance for our guy Anthony Pusick to shine with Fraud Alert Friday. What's up, buddy?
Typically, we say on assignment.
But everybody knows where he is.
Yeah, I know. He told the world.
It had nothing to
Quite
do with
an
us.
assignment.
Well, we don't usually do this first, but sometimes I feel like the callers who call in for Fraud Alert Friday get the short end of the stick because
You're
we
right.
get to so many great emails.
You're not
and
wrong.
there's a couple of people that I know because I screen the calls almost every day that called in and have called in and haven't been able to gotten to. So let's start on the phones with Drake in Poughkeepsie.
Drake, what do you got
Hey
today? on
guys,
Fraud
great
Alert
show.
Friday? Thank you.
I want to see if I'm a fraud if I try to redeem a long dormant Knicks fanhood, and I'm skeptical if you're going to let me, but I can kind of start from the backwards and work our way backwards. I really talked about it before with you guys, but my NBA fanhood fell off a cliff these past 5 years after my precious New Jersey/Brooklyn Nets got swept by Peter Celtics. It was devastating, and I just quit the whole NBA seriously. But I for like 20 years was a Nets fan, but for a couple of years in the late 90s after Space Jam came out, when I was like 7 or 8 years old, I thought Patrick Ewing was the coolest cat going, man. And I had an Allen Houston poster, and I was a Knicks fan for a very short formative period of time. And since they are now on a finals run, I want to know if I root for the Knicks. Is it fraudulent, or can I somehow reclaim my fanhood for the Knicks in the long run?
Drake, you're a fraud, and thanks for the call. I mean, on a level that is almost can't be seen from the ground. He's a Nets fan.
Yeah.
And he all of a sudden had a place in his heart for the Knicks. He's hanging up Patrick Ewing and Allen Houston posters. Now you're a fraud. You're a Net fan that became a Knick fan. Now you want to regain your frauddom when originally you were a Knick fan because you're a fraud. You're not welcome. You're not welcome on the bandwagon. Thank you, sir. Leave.
Well, that was a nice quick one to start. Let's see if
it's almost like he doesn't even know who I am.
So everybody who might have struggled to follow, the chronology is this.
Fraudulent.
He started out as somebody in the late 90s who found, after Space Jam, found Patrick Ewing to just be cool. Then decided, I like Patrick Ewing enough to watch the Knicks, and boy, that guy Allen Houston's pretty cool too. I'll put a poster up of him. Then, was it the move to Brooklyn or something? Like whatever it was that drew him to the Nets made him a Nets fan until they lost to the Celtics, and then he gave up on them. But now the Knicks are cool again, he wants to come back to the Knicks.
Sorry to the...
So
you
just
can't
so you
get
know,
through the
that's the chronology, which now I know I'm new here, but I feel like that is the very definition of fraud, according to Don McGregor.
His picture should be right next to the definition of fraud. And
that's the example we give when we have these when we have a clinic to teach people about fraud and how to avoid it. This is one of the things we teach.
This is what we teach, and as our Christians will appreciate, no room at the inn. Take your donkey and go walking. You're not allowed on the Knick bandwagon.
Okay.
Hope you watch. You're not welcome.
I would be remiss to say, of course, the reason that Peter's in Italy is first for business, then for pleasure. Clash in Italy, 2 p.m. on Sunday, ESPN Unlimited, and coverage begins at noon Eastern, which of course is important if you have ESPN Unlimited, because that's where you're going to be able to see Peter. And I've heard that ESPN is going to simulcast the first hour of Clash in Italy. So if you're looking for Peter on Sunday, that's where you could find Peter.
I can't hear the word unlimited without going,
unlimited. We're going to have to get him to do that.
Yeah.
At some point. Jay in New Jersey, Fraud Alert Friday.
Hi, Jay.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you for taking my call.
Always.
Honorable Judge LaGreca, I wanted to chime in. I, too, am a Nets fan, diehard Nets fan since the early 90s. I am not on the Knicks bandwagon. I'm actually hating from afar. But that aside, my question is, am I a fraud? I went to a ton of Nets playoffs games, obviously in the early 2000s, even in the mid-2000s. I've only gone to one game at the Barclays since they've moved there. I did have floor seats because I had a hookup. Am I a fraud because I have not gone back to the Barclays since then?
Well, quick question. Are you still following them? You still watch them? You still consume Nets basketball? Hello? Well,
we lost him.
Oh, no.
He gone.
So we got a lot of Nets fans who are trying to all of a sudden change stripes here.
Well, no, not necessarily.
So
I say no fraud based on the information that I have because he just said that he's rooting against the Knicks, which any good Net fan would do, right? I mean, he would be a fraud if all of a sudden he jumped on the Knicks bandwagon as a Net fan. You should be sickened by the Knicks run if you're a Net fan. That's the way it works in my world, in which I judge if you approach my bench. And he just is a guy from Jersey that hasn't gone to Brooklyn. And I wanted to ask him, he still follows the team, so I'm going to assume he still does.
I misunderstood. I misunderstood because he didn't finish the thought. I misunderstood when he said, "Am I a fraud because I haven't gone to games?" I'm thinking, is he now trying to say, I'm no longer sickened?
No, well, he started by saying he's a Net fan.
No,
so
I
I'm assuming
get it.
he's still a fan of the team, but I don't know where he lives. But just say he lives, in Trenton.
It's not easy to get there.
That's not easy to get to Brooklyn. I can understand that. You don't. That doesn't make you a diehard fan that you attend games. It's expensive. It's far away. But if you're still watching, still listening, still reading about the team, that's fine. I know fans that don't get to go to games for a myriad of reasons. So based on the information that I have, if he is still a Nets fan, which I took he is, no fraud.
All right. Let's get some emails. Justin emailed in back on April 16th. I don't think we ever got to him, so let's see what we could do here. He'd like to start by stating his sports fandom ranks like this: Yankees, Knicks, Jets, UConn. He's currently 33 years old. His brother's 5 years older than him. Back when I was in middle school and high school, my brother went to Syracuse. He wasn't just a student, but he was in the journalism school and covered the team. Newhouse, of course. Before he went to Syracuse, I never followed or really watched college basketball. I really only watched the Knicks. Keep in mind, Syracuse fan. It was back from like 2006 to 2010 time when Syracuse was very good. They usually went pretty deep into the tournament during those years, coached by Jim Boeheim. They had some pretty memorable games, such as the 6 overtime game at the Garden. That was insane against UConn, and I was definitely really into it. Naturally, my brother graduated, and the team really didn't accomplish much after that. I stopped following them. I didn't go to Syracuse, and I should mention I went to a D3 school, so I stopped watching college basketball altogether. I'd maybe root for Syracuse if they were on TV, not knowing any of the current roster. From 2011 to 2020-ish, I essentially stopped watching college basketball, or at least stopped following a team. As most of these Fraud Fridays go, I met my now wife. Both of her parents went to UConn, so their family are avid fans. During this crazy UConn run, they go to the Final Four whenever they're in. At first, I felt a little iffy rooting for UConn because of my Syracuse fandom from 06 to 2010, but realistically, Syracuse is no longer in the Big East, and I really couldn't name one player since Johnny Flynn or Andy Routens left the team. Where's the? Hang on a minute. Let's just take care of that.
Yeah, that's a strange
All right. Due to the fact that I experimented, Don, I think you know where this is going. Am I a fraud?
Well, definitely zipper key, right, Alan?
Yeah, that's definition of zipper key for sure.
I'm going to surprise you guys. I'm going to say no fraud.
Oh!
Because he shouldn't even have been a Syracuse fan anyway. He didn't go there, and he didn't seem like he was really that big of a fan. I don't even know how to rule with these college yo-yo stuff anyway. And you know what? He fell in love with a girl. The zipper key took over. I'm sure he must have closed. Good for him. All right? So, I think, it's just reading between the lines there. It's like, listen, if that's your in, then good for you. All right? Who am I? Because I don't think it had anything to do with sports. I think it had everything to do with the zipper key.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like he got the key.
Yeah.
And it opened the door.
Yeah.
And boy, was it glorious.
Well.
So, no fraud.
No fraud. Love it.
Listen, here in the court, we don't discriminate. We don't judge. But a son is calling out his own father.
Oh, no.
I love
Ethan says.
I love this.
My dad's a so-called lifelong Nets fan. Even
Nets?
rooting for them in the ABA Nets.
Oh, okay. Nets.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
But this week, and we just discussed this, so I think we know the answer. He told me he's happy for the Knicks. Even worse, in the 90s, he rooted for them because he was a big Patrick Ewing fan. Shout out Dave Rothenberg.
What is going on with
I was
people?
utterly shocked and angry at him for being a fraud Nets fan. So all of DHR. Is my dad a fraud Nets fan?
I mean, the answer is obviously
To the ABA, he goes back, Don.
Yeah, he's an old school fraud.
Yeah.
We like to put labels on these things, so I think he's an old school fraud. Come on, I love that. Listen, Patrick's a gem, right?
Yeah, we
love Patrick.
But you're a Nets fan. You get more disrespect from Knicks fans anyway. They don't even acknowledge your existence, and now you're happy for them. You think they were happy for you when you were playing the Lakers and the Spurs in back-to-back finals? No, they were disgusted that the Nets were in the finals and they weren't. Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden you're happy for them. You want to be happy for your buddy who's a lifelong Knicks fan, but you're happy. And I just love these people. Diehard Knicks fan, but I fell in love with Patrick Ewing. Why? Patrick Ewing's a nice guy, but that's going to make you cheat on your team?
Can I ask you a question, Don? From my perspective, I'm a little worried now. I watched the Knicks religiously as a kid, but Drazen Petrovic was one of my favorite players in the NBA. Does that make me a fraud?
No,
so
but
when the Nets were on, they were usually WR at times Sports Channel. But when they were on, I would, if the Knicks weren't, I would watch because I loved him.
But did you root for the Nets? Did you become a closet Net fan? Were you
no,
happy?
I wasn't doing that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But I was watching a player who I was like, I love this guy. He was a killer.
It's an odd, and it's not a strange pull because he was a great pull. It might be a strange pull for certain people.
Great player, tragic ending.
We died on the Autobahn in 1993, if I'm not mistaken. But I remember getting the news on that, and it was just like it was devastating.
But all right, so there's that example, and then again, I've told you this story, and I'm curious because you keep kind of like hinting to something. When my parents celebrated the Rangers winning the Cup in '94, I was happy for them.
You were happy for your parents.
It was a Game 7, and I said to myself, as much as it would suck, because you know you're never going to get the end of it, I said, I'd like to see them win.
You were happy for your parents, not for the Rangers.
And I just said that. If you want to be happy for a buddy that's a lifelong Knicks fan, but you're not rooting for the Knicks, he said that in the 90s, his dad, who goes back to the New York Nets of the ABA, said he was rooting for the Knicks.
Didn't it say, though, Anthony, correct me if I'm wrong, if we could have the court stenographer read back, he liked Ewing. He didn't say he liked the Knicks. Didn't he say he liked Ewing?
He said he rooted for Ewing.
Rooted for Ewing? Not the Knicks, though. Right?
He rooted for them.
Them.
Oh,
them.
Okay, that's it.
Them.
All right, I tried.
You tried.
The defense rests.
All right, here we go. One more before we get out of Dodge here, fellas. From Jeffrey. Hello, guys.
Hello.
I enjoy your show and need a ruling on my sports fandom. Well, you've come to the right place.
That's right.
I believe I may be a fraud, but I'm unsure. Well, that's why we're here. Maybe you could help me before I become a fraud. I grew up in a small town outside of Houston, Texas. I started playing football and basketball in middle school in the late 90s. The two teams I became a fan of is the New York Jets during the Vinny Testaverde, Keyshawn Curtis Martin era, right around the time Rick became a fan, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah, it's true.
When they were defeated in the AFC Championship game by the Denver Broncos.
That's right. Blew 10-0.
That's before Rick.
Before Rick.
Rick wasn't until 2000.
My basketball team was the LA Lakers. I jumped on the bandwagon when they acquired Shaq and when they got swept by the 99 Spurs during the lockout year. Over the years, I've realized that I was more of a Kobe fan than a Laker fan. I realized that when LeBron signed with the Lakers and when they won the championship in the bubble, I was disinterested. Over the past couple of years, I've been more interested in watching the NBA and following stories than just one team. I have to say, over the past 2 seasons, I've been watching the Knicks closely.
Here we go.
And I'm very interested in them winning and winning the championship based on their style. I want to be clear, I'm not jumping on the bandwagon just because of their recent run.
Yes, you are.
So this is probably due to me listening to the ESPN New York Radio, Bart Hahn, Bart Carlin, and DHR. While I want to talk about timeline. To stay up to date with my Jets, but now I'm becoming a fan of the Knicks. I know you have said religiously that you have to stick with the team you picked as a child. Would I be a fraud if I became a Knicks fan now?
Yes! Fraud. And I'm going to tell you something, Alan. If you saw me, twirling the hammer.
You were excited.
I was going to rule no fraud.
What made you change it?
When he said, would I be a fraud if I am a fan of the Knicks? He threw fan in.
Yes.
I'm all for, because listen, I've toyed with, because I'm trying to speak to my father, but the problem is he's in heaven. But if the day may come after, a few too many old fashions. that my father will present himself to me and say, "Stop being a Met fan. I'm telling you, otherwise you're going to be joining me in heaven." And if I decided to say I'm not a Met fan anymore, I would probably become like he was describing. I just become a fan of baseball.
You just
and
watch
I pick up stories, just watch the games, and
That's me in the NFL.
Kind of like rooting interests of other teams, and this team's doing well. I hope this team beats that team, but not being a fan of anybody. And that's where it sounded like he was going. And then the last sentence he threw out, would I be a fraud if I became a fan of the Knicks?
Yeah,
yes, fraud, not a fan. And you picked the perfect time, right?
Even if it's 2 years,
I feel
it's been
like
good
this
runs.
is-
I mean, these
I feel
2
like
years.
some of this is my
Conference
fault, though.
final, NBA finals. Oh, perfect 2 years.
This is sort of my fault, though, because you could hear the shows that he followed. Because he was a Jets fan, he listened to Bart and I, and then moved over to listening to us. And so I probably led him there.
He was up for grabs, right? And
Well,
he
he
decided
didn't like
it's
LeBron.
polar opposites, Jets, Lakers.
I know.
But he also realized, hey, maybe I don't love the Lakers. Maybe this is really about Kobe, and now Kobe's gone and didn't like the whole LeBron
thing.
James vibe. I get that. And he was out. Remember, the rules of fraud is you could always tap out. You just can't tap back in with somebody else.
Yeah.
Sounds like he wants to tap back in. Oh, the Knicks, not the Sacramento Kings or the Memphis Grizzlies. He's picking a team that's been to the third round and the fourth round back-to-back years. No,
Yeah.
fraud.
The god of fraud does not accept divorce, does not recognize divorce.
Or remarriage. He recognizes divorce, just
I
can't get
should say-
remarried.
Okay, remarriage. That's fair. So right, can't get remarried in the church of fraud. You may not remarry.
Yeah, but
You
it's for
can
life.
leave your spouse, but you cannot take another spouse.
It's a great analogy with the marriage because you can almost look at it like till death do us part. Like, you know what? You're killing me, the Mets, so, I'm going to get out because otherwise I'll be dead. But, no, you can't remarry. No, I'm sorry. This is it. This is who you chose right till death.
Amazing.
And that is Fraud Alert
That's
Friday.
just really
That was
good.
very
That was a good one.
You know
We had
what?
a lot into that.
Just hits
Very
different
good.
when it's Anthony. That was Fraud Alert Friday, and that was brought to you by D'Agostino Law. 35 years of getting accident victims and Social Security disability clients every dollar they deserve. Offices in New York and New Jersey. 1-800-BITE-BACK. 1-800-248-3222. D'Agostino Law. Bite back.
Donnie, coming up, I have big news from MSG.
Big news from MSG. Allen's got it. Don Hahn and Rosenberg, ESPN New York.
Oh, law, bite back. Did you know that Social Security disability takes a bite out of every one of your paychecks? So when they deny your claim, bite back. I'm John D'Agostino from D'Agostino & Associates, and I'm proud to announce our first ever Social Security disability webinar. It's happening on June 3rd at 1 o'clock. In just 1 hour, you'll learn your rights, understand the appeals process, and find out how our experienced SSD attorneys can help you get the benefits you've earned. Spots are limited, so don't wait. Register now by calling 1-800-BITE-BACK, 1-800-248-3222, or go online to daglawteam.com/SSD webinar. That's daglawteam.com/SSD webinar. D'Agostino Law is here to bite back, to fight back, to get you the SSD benefits you've earned. Register today at 1-800-248-3222.
The New York City Department of Correction offers countless career opportunities, from specialized units to leadership roles that support public safety and change lives for the better. It starts with one step: registering for the New York City Correction Officer exam. Earn over $109,000 after just 5.5 years. Benefits on day one, job security, pension at any age after 22 years of service. Go to nyc.gov/joinDOC or search Join DOC. One career, many opportunities. Registration ends today. Take the test.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds, and you can apply in minutes. You get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates may vary.
Earn an accredited MBA in as few as 16 months for about $21K at University of Maryland Global Campus. Explore 10 specializations, including finance, HR, cyber technology, and more. Plus, showcase the value of your MBA with a comprehensive learner record and digitally demonstrate in-demand skills and credentials to employers. No application fee if you apply by June 1st. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Shell.
When you're vacationing in your RV, there are some things you can always count on. Taking the kayaks out on the lake, hot dogs on the grill, and your sister's boyfriend pulling out his acoustic guitar.
Everyone quiet! Harrison's playing. Wow, you're so good, Harrison.
With Progressive, your RV is protected 24/7, so you're prepared for whatever you don't see coming. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in D.C.
In a world parched for excitement, one drink will emerge. Twisted Tea, the refreshing thrill ride of flavor. Recreating its classic role as the hard iced tea that goes down smooth. Twisted Tea doesn't just taste like real iced tea, it's made with real brewed tea and a 5% kick of alcohol. Taste the adventure with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
For the first time since 1999, the Knicks are headed to the NBA Finals.
And the 27-year wait is over. They will play for the Larry O'Brien Trophy. 4 wins away from an NBA championship.
This group got tighter and more accountable as the days got closer to June.
Thanks to all our New York Knicks partners this season, including The Wellness Company, Dime Commercial Bank, Michelob Ultra, and Kia Motors on ESPN New York.
Hey guys, in New York, every block is a business and every minute counts. And Amazon Hub Delivery lets you earn extra revenue from the business you already run. So listen up if you own a business here. You and your staff can deliver packages right in your neighborhood on a schedule that works for you. It's a smart way to keep your hustle going, bring in more revenue, more visibility, and of course, staying connected to the community you serve every day. I'll tell you about Christine. She's the owner of All Breed Cat and Dog Grooming in Verona, New Jersey. She said she loves the flexibility of Amazon Hub Delivery. She takes grooming appointments in the morning, then delivers packages in the afternoon around her business's schedule. And getting started, it's easy. No delivery experience, no long-term contracts, and best of all, no startup costs. New York local businesses, if you're ready to make your next move, visit Amazon.com/Hub Delivery. That's Amazon.com/HUB Delivery. So before we get to calls and other things, Donnie, I wanted to mention something that I'm very excited about that's starting next week on MSG Network. So not only will we continue throughout the NBA Finals having an hour-long pregame show leading into the games and an extended postgame show, whatever it's going to take, we get all of the interviews, locker room, podium, everything, analysis, that we'll have after the game immediately following. Like when the clock hits 0, we are on the air.
Cool.
But also, how about this? Tuesday, we're having a live show in the afternoon during NBA Media Day availability for the NBA Finals.
What?
Hour-long show in the afternoon, live. Then, starting Tuesday night, on the off nights without a game, show called Knicks Talk Daily on MSG Network, starting at 8 p.m., giving you your off-day coverage throughout the finals. So what you're getting is daily coverage of the Knicks in the NBA Finals only on MSG Network. I will be part of pretty much all of it, along with Bill Pito leading the way as usual, and Wally Zerbiak, Steve Novak, Monica McNutt. So there's nowhere else to go than MSG Network for all of your Knicks NBA Finals coverage.
Excellent.
Very excited about this.
No, that's and that was good that you told people that when the clock zeroes out.
Yeah, the minute the game's over, don't waste any time. Just get right over MSG, last channel button, baby, because you're going to watch the pregame show. No one knows your team better. No one's going to have more exclusive Knicks content, more Knicks coverage, a better feel for your team than obviously the home team, us. So again, this is something I've never experienced, and I love the fact that the network is basically going wall to wall, all the way to the end. It's going to be awesome.
All right, let's go to Clark in Queens. You're on ESPN New York. What's up, Clark?
It's actually Claude.
Oh, Claude.
But
all right.
Yeah, I was curious, what type of Sodom and Gomorrah church is this, where divorce is okay, remarriage is frowned upon, and swinging is preferred? Because that's kind of what you're.
Wow.
Well, no,
I didn't really look at it that way, but he's kind of got a point there, Don.
Yeah, I guess you're right in the sense of the swinging part, kind of. But no. What I'm saying is,
sometimes you make wiser decisions in your old age.
No.
You know what?
Claude,
he's making a great point
he's
here.
Not. No, but I thought about it. No, I said if I disowned the Mets, my swinging would be I'd kind of just root for baseball after I already disowned them. So if you want to do the marriage thing, after you get divorced, you pull a Joey Salvia. If you remember, Joey Salvia just went like nuts for like a year, and then he remarried. But the point is that if I decide I'm just going to swing, but there is no remarrying, so it's basically if you're single, go nuts. But if you're married, you stay married. So you're not
Second
swinging
time
while
around,
you're
sometimes,
married.
Don, is the right way to go.
No, but swinging, really, I think this is not in my ballywick whatsoever.
We happen to talk a lot about it, or that's the morning show actually.
But the point is that you're not swinging while you're married. You're swinging after you're married. And that's fine.
Yeah, but I like where. By the way, the
thank you, Claude.
The vacation
up
reference.
Every 5 minutes, Claude.
Clark.
I thought so.
I thought that was so great.
Oh, and that's weird because it was written.
He was
it was on the screen as Clark.
Yeah.
But he was actually Claude.
Yeah, which maybe he was also making a joke. Who knows? But
I don't even know anymore.
It is a good pushback to your theory that you're not allowed to leave a team that you grew up cheering for to go to another team. When sometimes some people meet somebody young in life, get married, realize this wasn't it, and then meet somebody that goes, you know what, this is better for me, and then remarries and finds out life was perfect.
And in my world, that's called a fraud. Frauds can be happy. Frauds can be right. But they're still frauds. Some of my favorite people are frauds. See, people misunderstand like fraud being pejorative. It doesn't necessarily have to be pejorative. It just that's what you are.
Okay.
I know fraud's strong.
It is negative, though. It is a negative connotation.
It does. It has a negative tone to it.
Yeah.
But, I guess where we lose the analogy of marriage is that, it is supposed to be just sports and it's supposed to be not as serious as that. But let's be honest, people take it seriously, right?
Yeah, I know.
They look at the teams that they root for kind of like a marriage, right? And you're supposed to take the good and the bad and all that. And it seems like a lot of people can't take the bad, so they want to jump someplace else that's better. And that to me is fraudulent.
Well, that I understand. That I agree. That's more the
but you just made it a little too serious. Like obviously, if you're in a dead end marriage, you got married at 18, you're 25 years old.
Did.
Then the real world comes to life here, and you got to get out. Mm-hmm. But let's not ruin this segment with this.
I know. I know.
This is like what into the second straight week now that all of a sudden the seriousness now. What was it? Fraud was leading to like violence on the field and everything. Like, come on, guys, we're having some fun. But I think Claude meant it to just be sarcastic, and then
of course
Alan
he did.
Had to ruin it.
He was having fun with it too, and I just wanted to lean into it because he was making a good point.
No,
but I like the fact that you were able to fight back with it, so it just shows your skill.
Let me ask you something, and this is a serious question, and I know we're up against it.
Okay,
but I want to get into the baseball and the CBA of it all.
Yeah.
But we do have a lot to say about Dart and Carter, and we're saving it for ENN, but I kind of feel like doing it next.
I'm ready when you're ready.
All right, Don Hahn and Rosenberg, ESPN. Oh, wait a minute, Ian O'Connor, I forgot. He's coming up.
It's too many Ians.
There's too many Ians. No, because I look at the rundown as the Bible. As you can see here.
Right, but it live edits,
A lot of things happen once the show starts to kind of obliterate.
Yes, Peter has commented on
Ian O'Connor is next. Yes. Then we'll get into the... Remember, we might even bring it up with Ian. Don Hahn and Rosenberg, ESPN New York.
First, I take a sabbatical, then do absolutely nothing.
Glorious. But what,
You'd win the New York lottery, then do nothing?
Well, I'd also commission a cutting-edge mobile bed, so I never stop doing nothing, even when I leave my house.
Okay, but how can you do even less?
Well, I'll spend 6 months living with a Honduran capuchin monkey troupe to learn how to pick things up with my feet, so I never have to lift a finger again.
Oh, you'll be a hit at dinner parties. New York Lottery. Can you imagine? Play today. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Big events are bringing more riders across the region. So if you're taking New Jersey Transit for everyday trips, plan ahead. Check schedules, allow extra time, and consider traveling outside of peak hours when you can. New Jersey Transit is running additional service to help keep everyone moving. But a little planning goes a long way. Stay aware, be courteous, and ride smart. New Jersey Transit, keeping your day on track. Plan your trip at njtransit.com.
Now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Thanks, guys. We've got the Mets home tonight at Citi Field. It's also fireworks night. That draws a bigger crowd. Rough ride on the Grand Central eastbound, moving through Queens. A crash in the left lane right after Jewel Avenue. That as you packed heading over to the stadium. Delays go back onto the Bronx and Manhattan legs of the Triborough Bridge. Bunched up right at the Whitestone heading across the Upper East River from the Bronx side. Then you're in pretty good shape on the expressway southbound, moving towards Citi Field. Worst of it's the outbound George Cross Bronx westbound. Long line of brake lights from the Bruckner on through. Inbound George, stick with the lower deck, upper level, about a 20 to 30 minute ride from 80-95. Outbound Lincoln are only about 30 minutes. Outbound Hahn, 45 plus. This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you're not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Visit mad.org. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
Your car at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Less than 4 in 10 kids aged 6 through 12 are playing sports regularly. 4 in 10 kids? Let it sink in. Just 4 in 10 kids. ESPN is building a nationwide coalition powered by Disney called Take Back Sports, with the purpose of training more coaches, expanding access, and creating community-driven sports programming that puts kids and fun first. We're working on that story. We hope you'll join us.
Visit takebacksports.org to learn more.
880 ESPN, WHSQ, and WCBS-FM HD2, New York. A Good Karma Brands radio station.
Game Time is brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, guys.
Yeah! It's tally time! It's tally time!
The Mets start a series with the Marlins, with coverage immediately following us on 880 at 6:30, and the Yankees visit the Sacramento Athletics, if that's what they're called, at 9:40. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cast matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew or try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. Sometimes great things happen on accident.
Right.
And if you missed the show earlier, we had Ian Begley from SNY booked at 4 o'clock. He had to shift gears and move to 3:45. When I was in the opening monologue, I got a Anthony in my ear saying Ian at 3:45. And I just immediately thought of Ian O'Connor because I love the guy, and I'm like, boy, I'd love to talk to him, and just went into this whole soliloquy about how it's great to get the history of the Knicks from a guy that was around for so long and covered the team, yada, yada. And then I was told, no, Ian Begley moved to 345. I'm like, okay. And then a great man, Alan Hahn, says, you know what, why don't we get Ian O'Connor on? And here he is at 5 o'clock. So sometimes things happen on accident, but I love this man, Ian O'Connor, and he joins us here on Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. How are you, sir? It's an honor.
Hey, Don, that was just a nice way of saying that I'm old.
Wow.
But I appreciate that. And Begley's terrific anyway, so you're better off with him.
But as much as I love Ian Begley, when I hear Ian, I think of you. There's a lot of great Ians.
Thank
Ian
you.
Rappaport, Ian Begley. It's pronounced differently, but Ian Eagle. But you're the guy. When I hear IAN, I think of you.
Well, that's very nice of you, Don. I did tell Ian Eagle that I've said this to him in the past that, I don't know how you are the best sportscaster alive, and I vote for you all the time for all these different awards, and you still don't know how to pronounce your first name. I don't quite understand that. But
I do think, though,
it's great. It's great. I was going to say it's great to be with you guys. Thanks for having me.
It's awesome to have you. I'm glad you were available for us, too, today for many levels. But Don does a top 5 every week. He does his list, and I do think a top 5 Ians is definitely something that's on the table. But when it comes to, though, this current iteration of the Knicks and where they are right now in the franchise's history, I know you're a great historian. We had a caller earlier today mention something that I don't think is talked about enough. It's not just the roster that they have right now, it's how it was built. And Ian, I always say that this franchise finally got it right when they stopped chasing stars. Do you see it like that? And what do you think of the job that Leon Rose has done?
Yeah, he's done an incredible job. And early on, he struggled a little bit. First time in this role, if you think of Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier and Cam Reddish, there were some misses there. But like his players, like his team, he got better and better and better at this job. And, yeah, he didn't make the Giannis deal. He didn't make the Donovan Mitchell deal. And it was like just these other moves that he made and piecing this together to all come to fruition, obviously, this year, a championship-level team. It's the best Knicks team I've ever seen. Now, I was 8 years old when they won in 73, and I do remember that team to some extent, but I was 8. So when I really started processing basketball, I would say the only Knicks team that I think in a 7-game series that might have a shot against these guys would be the 93 team, which is odd because they didn't reach the finals like 94 and the 99 team did. I thought the 93 team was the best team since 73. They're the only team since 1970 to win 60 games, the Knicks team. And they were the top seed. They beat out Chicago for that number 1 seed in the East. I think they won 9 of their first 11 playoff games, including the first 2 against Michael Jordan. And then it unraveled. But that might be the only team that in a 7-game series I think could potentially beat this team. But, hey, yeah, Leon Rose has been totally lights out.
And you need a little luck, too, right? We had a caller talk about, not building through the draft but making shrewd trades. And, sometimes you get lucky, like Joker taken in the second round or Giannis taken 15th overall. That's a break. Was Leon's break Brunson? Because did they think they were getting this? Did anybody believe they were getting this when they acquired him?
No, not this. Not a superstar. And remember, Don, the conversation was when he arrived in New York, is he good enough to be the second best player on a championship team? Not the best player. And I think now that question is being answered. Now he's got to win 4 more games, but I think most people now believe that, yes, Jalen Brunson can be the best player on a championship team. And will he go down as the greatest player in the history of the franchise? I think at his age, he still has some years to get there. I don't think he's there now. And I don't think if he wins 1 ring, he's there. He's in the top 4. Right now I have him 4th. I have Ewing, Frazier, and Reed ahead of him. But right now I'd put him ahead of DeBusschere. I'd put him ahead of Bernard King, ahead of Earl Monroe, and everyone else. And that's Carmelo. That's saying a lot. So I think that, yes, the biggest move in this whole thing was Brunson, because even they did not know they were getting this. And, some old takes have surfaced from different people saying that Brunson was not a franchise player. But, I'm pretty sure most people in the Knicks organization didn't believe he was really a franchise player. They thought he might become a top 2 or 3 option on a championship team. But all the credit goes to Leon Rose, Tibbs, certainly Mike Brown now, but Jalen Brunson himself, for when you look at him physically, you say he's just not the kind of guy you could see as a dominant player in this league, but he's just done an incredible job, and in a lot of ways reminds you of Derek Jeter in the way he carries himself, and he's got a chance to go down among the great New York Titans of all time.
That's where I was going next with you, Ian, because you're such a historian of not just, the single sports. You do a lot of stuff with football, but you know New York sports as well as anybody that's doing it today. And Jeter is one name certainly that comes up. Judge is another name that is more current that comes up. But when you think about his story, the connection to where his father was on the 99 team, his father was a Knick. I always use the phrase blood in the ground as this thing of what you are if if you're from here or you have some sort of emotional connection to here. I think it does. It is different. It hits different. It hit different for Tibbs because he had worked here before. So I wanted to ask you with Brunson, his story, and when you can connect it to, let's go modern, because anything before the 70s feels like a different world. But in the modern era, where would you put him among New York athletes when it comes to his story, the connection, and the sort of, I don't want to say come out of nowhere, but that wasn't one we saw coming.
Yeah, you're right, Alan, and I think if he wins this championship, he's up there, and I understand Derek Jeter won 5. But there's more on Brunson than there ever was on Derek Jeter. There are only 5 players on the court. He is ending a 53-year championship drought if it happens. And I think he's right there with Jeter at the very top in terms of modern New York superstars. And I'd even put him ahead of maybe Eli Manning, although he had the 2 Super Bowl MVPs. He's right there, certainly with Eli, if not slightly ahead of him. It's just a staggering achievement when, again, you look at his size, not the most athletic guy in the world, to dominate in a sport that is dominated by much bigger people. And to do it in New York, to end a drought like that, 53 years. I would say I'd put him right there with Jeter and Messier. And Eli's in that group too.
Eli's that, yeah, right. Like Eli's got to be there, right? Because he was so cold in the toughest moments. And I think that says right. A lot. Very similar to Brunson.
Right, and he beat the greatest coach and quarterback of all time twice in Super Bowls. So, right now, again, last 30, 35, 40 years, you're looking at Jeter, Messier, Eli, and Brunson. And
wow.
So it is amazing company for him to keep, and he does need to win 4 more, and I do think the Knicks can and will do it. I think they'll beat either of these teams in 6 games.
Wow, that's interesting. Ian O'Connor joining us here on Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Since we're looking at the history of it, and still 4 more wins before we get there, Ian, but where would this rank in New York sport championships, right? The 94 Rangers, the 86 Mets, the 86 Giants, the 96 Yankees. There's certain teams that just seem to hit different.
Jets. Yeah.
You can make the case that would this be number 1?
I think I would say yes, and for this reason. One, the 98 Yankees are the best team I've ever covered. And this team does not rise to the level of the 98 Yankees, but that's not the question you asked. It's not the best team.
Not the best, but the one that just seems to resonate the most.
Yeah, and I think there's a little recency bias maybe in my answer here. I would say yes because, and I'm sure other people have brought this up, the Knicks are the team in the really the only basketball team in the city. You have Yankees and Mets fans, Giants and Jets fans, Rangers and Islanders fans, maybe to a lesser degree. And I don't want to say the Nets are completely irrelevant. I don't want to say – I grew up a Nets fan to some degree. I followed them as a Jersey guy. But listen, if you're a basketball fan in the tri-state area, you're a Knicks fan for the most part. And so the entire region rallies around the Knicks when they're really good. So if they actually pull this off, and again, I think they will, despite the Mitchell Robinson injury. I do think they will. I think it is the biggest championship since the '94 Rangers. Since the NBA is probably a little bit of a bigger sport in New York than hockey, I would say, yeah, I would put it number one.
Wow. Well, something that, because there's always got to be some naysayers and some negativity and criticism, there are people that are looking at least nationally, that, they've had an easy run. It just shows you how weak the East is. They could sweep twice. They're blowing teams out. That says that they haven't played anybody good. Do they have to beat the defending champs to put that narrative to bed, or does that narrative not really mean anything?
Yeah, I don't think ultimately it means anything. I think that, listen, I would suspect their chances of winning a championship would be better against San Antonio. They have not beaten Oklahoma City in 3 seasons.
Right.
And they beat the Spurs 2 out of 3 this year. So I think, listen, you can only play who's put in front of you. They did get a favorable draw this year, certainly with the way the rest of the Eastern Conference playoffs played out. But I don't like subtracting anything from champions, championship teams. I really don't.
No.
And particularly one that ends 53 years of misery or something close to it. I'm sorry. I don't care who they beat at this point. I don't care who they've beaten. When you win 11 straight playoff games, and I asked Jeff Van Gundy the other day, and he said this is the best Knicks team he's ever seen, including his teams. So, yeah, I'm not going to subtract anything from what they've accomplished and what they will accomplish going forward. And I think that I understand that being part of the national conversation, but I think you're missing the point if that's what you're focusing on.
But you know what's going to happen, Ian? It's inevitable. If they don't win, then you'll look upon the run as they got there because it was soft. And that's the shame of it, right? Because this is 11 straight wins. But you know when you lose in the finals, people are just going to look at it as, all right, well, you got what you deserved because you faced the best team and you lost. That will, I think, at least outside the New York metropolitan area, enhance the fact that the East was weak.
You're probably right, Don, but we'll know better. Those of us who followed this, right? It'll be our little secret that wasn't really the case. This was a special group.
Right.
And I may write this if it doesn't happen, if they don't win a championship, but I don't think you need to win a title to be winners. And I think this team has already secured the fact that they are winners. And what they gave the city with this run will never be forgotten by the people who lived it and were there. And nationally, you might be right, but locally in this region, we'll know better. And I think that's something that this Knicks team is already guaranteed for themselves and for everyone who experienced it. And frankly, again, I don't think they're going to have to worry about it. I do think right now they're the best team, and I suspect that in the next 2 weeks they'll prove it.
Speaking of blood in the ground and a good story, I think you'd find Karl Anthony Towns fascinating at this point, wouldn't you? Because, you know, a kid from, he calls it Central Jersey, whose father had a chance to try out for the Knicks, broke his ankle and didn't get that chance to go to the tryout, whose mother loved the Garden so much she dreamed about her son playing there and has not, unfortunately, because she passed, didn't get a chance to actually see it with her own eyes. And a player who came here with some criticism, with people that were concerned if whether or not he was the right trade to make. Have you seen a transformation of a player like this where the crowd loves him now and he has become a different player in a matter of months? But his whole story to me, Ian, just feels like one of those, you know, great stories to tell if, of course, he can end up raising the trophy at the end of this.
Yeah, it is a great story, Alan. I remember talking to one of his teammates in high school at St. Joseph Metuchen years ago saying he remembered Karl wearing a Knicks jersey in practice and sometimes taking half-court shots. And it was just amazing, his range, even as a freshman in high school, from deep. And, you know, people say he's soft, or they said it in the past. They certainly shouldn't be saying it anymore in terms of play style. But he's also a good human being. I wrote a story recently about him where he has really done wonderful things for a mother of a soldier, a kid who went to St. Joseph Metuchen, and a U.S. Marine who was killed in Afghanistan. And Karl, as a freshman in high school, went out and intentionally scored 25 points to match up with his age and then stopped shooting. He passed up open shots and kept his scoring total at 25 to honor a soldier he never met. And he's still friends with Kathleen Reinhardt, the mother of that soldier today, had her at a game recently. And so that's the kind of human being that Karl Anthony Towns is. And frankly, the Knicks, to me, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, I think it's a very likable cast of players, a very likable head coach, and a very likable play style that makes them an appealing story, easy to embrace. And I don't know, maybe the rest of the country will get a chance to see that during the finals. But I think the connection between these Knicks and the city is reminiscent, in talking to people who were there, of the early 70s teams, the Red Holtzman teams that won 2 titles, that connection they had with New York at that time.
You worried about Robinson's pinky?
I don't think New York City has waited more than half a century for a championship, Don, to be derailed by a broken pinky finger. I mean, if that ends up being the case, then
it wasn't meant to
be. I'm sort of writing a column about it. Now, listen, it wasn't ever going to be perfect, this run to a championship. Something was going to happen. And maybe I hate to say this, but if you're going to have a rotation player have a broken pinky finger, he might not be the worst guy for that to happen to. I hope he's okay. Hope he's not in too much pain. He is a very important player for obvious reasons, and let's see if he can make it if he can answer the bell for Game 1.
You got notes for a book, Ian? Because I know you always back of your mind. You got to have some notes ready for a book here.
Hey, my colleague Fred Katz is writing a book on the revival of the Knicks, so he beat me to the punch.
Okay.
I can't do it. I wouldn't compete against that, and that will be terrific because Fred is really good. So my next book is going to be on the 2 championship teams, the Eli Coughlin 07 and 11 teams, and that 5-year period in Giants history. So that's my next project.
Well, I'm looking forward to that, and any promotion you need from us, you'll definitely get it. You're a brilliant author. I love the Rodgers book was terrific, and all the stuff that you've done, Belichick, it's incredible. So I'm really looking forward to that. Enjoy this run, Ian. We'll probably talk to you maybe before it's over or when it's over, and have a great weekend.
Hey, you too, guys. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You got it. That's the great
Thanks,
Ian O'Connor. It's going to be a race, right? Like if they win the title, all these guys that cover the team and anybody that's around New York that's an author is going to want to get a book out about this team.
Yeah.
Right? And I remember all the books that came out after '86 when the Giants and Mets won, and clearly when the Rangers won in '94. This one just feels like, because that's the one medium that still I think resonates with people is are books.
Yeah.
You know, even though newspapers have gone by the wayside a little bit, but I think there are going to be a ton of people that are going to want to be able to document this run, even if they don't win because of how incredible this run has been. But if they do win, don't be surprised if during the course of the summer and into the fall, there's not going to be about 4 or 5 books out there about the 25-26 Knicks.
Yeah, the fall is always, that's the big, the book release schedule season. It's there, and in the spring, right? Fall books releases are big because you have the holidays coming up. I know Fred. Fred's a fantastic writer, and he's also really good at just getting all the little details and nuances. He's a great storyteller, so that when that comes out, that'll be terrific.
Sure.
People have asked me about whether I would dive back in.
You've written a couple of books.
I have, and it's something I do want to do, but I wouldn't try to compete with this because it feels like it would be rushed, and I certainly don't have the time. But I do feel like, because I've kept all my notes, like you've talked about this, Don, with you keep every game that you do and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I had a feeling at the start of this season that this would be special. And I have proof that I have that feeling. I had that feeling, not making it up. And I kept notes this year like I never used to keep before. So there'll be a time that's appropriate for me, definitely, because it feels like something you'd want to tell. I said this, I'll just to put a cap on it. It was in '94 that Pat Riley had the Knicks show up for a midnight practice because it was the first minute the NBA allowed you to have a practice that season. And what he told the players that year was, it was October '93. He said, we're going to be the first team on the court. We're going to be the last team off. And they got to Game 7 and lost, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Knicks went to Abu Dhabi to start the preseason. They were the first team to practice in the NBA this year because you were allowed to practice a little bit early because of that trip. They were one of the first teams on a court playing in a game in the NBA, and they are now already going to be one of the last 2 teams off.
Yeah.
So there's some synergy there. Now, can they finish the job and be the last team off? And that's something I just watched from the start, and it would be pretty amazing. It's going to be a great story to tell if they can win it. I love the fact that Ian feels like I do, that there's just something about this team that makes you feel confident. No matter who they're going to play, they'll find a way to finish the job.
Jaxson Dart and Abdul Carter both spoke. We'll talk about that. We've got ENN with Anthony Pusa coming up at 6 o'clock. Mets baseball at 6:30. Don Hahn and Rosenberg, ESPN New York.
The New York Knicks, the NBA Finals. Finally.
And the New York Knicks are on their way to the NBA Finals. For the first time since 1999, the Knicks are Eastern Conference champions.
This is your home for the Eastern Conference champion New York Knicks and the NBA Finals. This is ESPN New York.
The New York City Department of Correction offers countless career opportunities, from specialized units to leadership roles that support public safety and change lives for the better. It starts with one step: registering for the New York City Correction Officer exam. Earn over $109,000 after just 5.5 years. Benefits on day one, job security, pension at any age after 22 years of service. Go to nyc.gov/joinDOC or search Join DOC. One career, many opportunities. Registration ends today. Take the test.
When care matters most, experience matters more. The Allure Group is redefining rehabilitation and long-term care across New York with 6 convenient locations. Their expert clinicians create personalized care plans to help you recover, rebuild, and get back to what matters most. From short-term rehab to long-term care, Allure is committed to comfort, dignity, and results. To learn more, visit allurecare.com. The Allure Group, where care meets compassion. If you think a new central air conditioning system is out of your budget, think again. Slomin's is here to change the game with their preseason super sale. They're now offering cutting-edge 18-SEER 2026 refrigerant-compliant R45 4B systems expertly installed by their certified technicians, all at the lowest prices of the year. That's right. Get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 18 months. Plus, they're including a comprehensive service plan for 5 years, including annual system checks, filter replacement, and refrigerant to keep your AC running smoothly all summer long. Call Slomin's today at 516-932-7000 for your free estimate. But hurry, these cool savings won't last. That's 516-932-7000 or visit ac.slomans.com. 18-month promo period, no payment, no interest, and no down payment offer. The offer is available through a third-party bank. On approved credit, interest is waived if loan is repaid in full during the same as cash period. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, let me ask you something. Would you seat your 3-year-old child on a windowsill? Would you seat them beside a lit fireplace or by the deep end of a pool? One last question. Would you seat your child in a car seat that's not correct for them? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Secure their future. Seat them in the correct car seat. For more information, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Sponsored by the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
Now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Thanks, guys. We've got the Mets home tonight at Citi Field, and it's also fireworks night. Probably going to see a lot of extra company. Still jammed on the Grand Central eastbound in Queens. They just picked up that crash right after Jewel Avenue. Packed ride heading toward the stadium. Delays go back onto the Bronx and Manhattan legs of the Triborough Bridge. Bumper to bumper at the Whitestone Bridge heading across the Upper East River. You're backed up onto the southbound Hutch in the Bronx. Slow crawl on the Southern State westbound in Nassau County. A collision in the center lane right after the Meadowbrook. Stop there from the Seaford Oyster Bay. Inbound George Upper Deck, a 30 to 40-minute ride from 8095. Only easy way to the outbound side, Henry Hudson. Outbound Lincoln Orny about 30 minutes. Outbound Holland close to 40. This report is sponsored by True Green. Don't waste another weekend doing lawn care yourself. Partner with the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour and get a golf course quality lawn the easy way. Sign up at truegreen.com. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code VAN for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code VAN for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code VAN.
Subscribe to ESPN New York on YouTube. Stream the full Weekday Lineup live. Watch complete replays or catch up fast on can't miss highlights. Jump into the live chat, react in real time, and make your voice part of the show. Subscribe to ESPN New York on YouTube now and stay locked in so you never miss a moment. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg with you till 6:30, and then it's the Mets and the Marlins here on ESPN New York. Now, obviously, the Jaxson Dart thing has been a firestorm. It's kind of a shame because, you know, it's the Knicks are going on, and it's something we probably would have addressed a little bit more had it not been about the Knicks. But I thought today was a good day to bring it up because Jaxson Dart did speak. He got the firestorm for introducing Donald Trump at a New York event. I guess that was early last week. Abdul Carter tweeted against Jaxson Dart doing that. Not surprising that
he said, "What are we doing here?"
Yeah, what are we doing here? And he obviously, and I didn't like the fact that he made it public. Well, we'll get into that in a second. But obviously, Jaxson Dart minicamp had an opening statement about what had taken place last week.
Obviously, this was a unique opportunity. Being asked and given the opportunity to introduce the President of the United States. My thinking was pretty simple in the fact of, I've always loved this country. I have extended family members who have fought in wars. I have 2 uncles who have retired from the Air Force Academy and served themselves. And I even have a great-grandfather who served as Secretary of Treasury at some point. So the president position has always been a position that I've well respected, regardless of political affiliation, regardless of political party. And my intentions were just that.
So you can see he was getting emotional, and he gave his reasons why he did that. And there is the office, right? He's not the first player to do this for Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Saquon Barkley took a picture with him in the Oval Office. Lawrence Taylor introduced him at an event. No bigger name in Giants history than Lawrence Taylor. John Harbaugh has made his feelings known politically about Donald Trump in the affirmative. So he wasn't exactly going out on a limb to introduce Donald Trump as a member of the New York Giants, because I'm sure his feelings are shared by half, if not more than half, of the Giants organization. I don't know that for a fact. I can't talk to every one of the 100 players that are at minicamp this week, but let's not pretend like he is in the minority. Over half this country voted for him. So I think that's something that has to be talked about, is that whatever your political leanings are, he's entitled to do it. Now, Abdul Carter's entitled to say what he said. My only problem is this became a firestorm because he made it public. He could have called him. He could have took him out privately and said, well, what are you doing? Why are you supporting this guy? And all of this would have been done behind closed doors, and nobody would have known anything about it, and there would be no firestorm. But it became a firestorm because it was public. Now, the counter to that will be, well, Dart made it public by introducing Donald Trump. But you just heard he didn't feel like he was doing anything wrong. He's the president of the United States. Like, you can have a problem with that, but there's a lot of people that don't. And I don't know, I guess you can't, Alan, you can't say it wasn't a political statement, but he looked at it as supporting the office. The president asked him to introduce him, and he did it. You know, so it feels like he's being thrown into a political war that's going on here that I'm not sure he was even willing to fight. Like, is introducing Donald Trump mean that you are MAGA? Does it mean that you are in full-blown support of everything he's ever done or going to do? Can you just look at it and say, the president of the United States asked me to introduce him and I did it?
Mm-hmm.
Can it be that simple?
The only thing that matters from the start of this whole thing is the fact that Abdul Carter thought it was a good idea to call out a teammate that way instead of reaching out to a teammate, right?
Right.
Like, if it bothered you, and you have every right to have your feelings and your beliefs about the situation, and if you thought, I'm going to just tweet this before I even text Jaxson about it, that's a problem that I would have in that locker room. Because what are we about? Because tweeting, as we know, is for the world to see. Yeah. And that, to me, is you wanting everyone to see it. Now, all of a sudden, our relationship is not based on trust of teammates and all that stuff, that it's really you being performative. You wanted everyone to rally behind you because you wanted to show people that you were upset by it.
And
you can be upset by it.
Of course he can.
But if you're really a true teammate, what you do is you reach out to your teammate and you go, hey, what made you do this? I don't love it. Talk to me about it, whatever it is, right? But we all also have to understand that these are not grown, mature men who have a wealth and depth in politics and also in life. They're young, privileged, and rich, and they don't really put a lot of time into all the other stuff. They don't. Football is their life. It's what they are. So they're going to see things, they're going to feel things, and that's okay. I hated the fact that this is a team that's trying to build something, and these are young players on the team that are supposed to be part of the foundation of them getting out of the malaise that they've been and turning back into a quality franchise. And one of the key pieces of the team thought the best thing to do is for me to go public with a concern, with a criticism. That was a criticism of a teammate. That's not how you do it, man.
Yeah, because and I put it into the life that we live. Well, I consider we're all teammates here. You know, the five of us on this radio show, you, me, Peter, Anthony, and Jacob, we're together every day. We're teammates.
Yeah.
We might not be competing for a Super Bowl, but we're all teammates.
Yeah.
And if I was to do something publicly like Jaxson Dart did, like introduce the President of the United States, and you or Peter had a problem with that, I would think you'd text me or call me or in the meeting the next day say, Don, why did you do that? Not go on Twitter and say, I can't believe Don LaGreca did that. I'd be red hot if you did that.
Right.
Because
hey,
we
Don,
keep all that behind closed doors.
Right. Show a picture of you and go, what are we doing here? It's not really how you do it. That's what I mean. So
that's anything.
What I'm trying
Let's
to do
say Jaxson Dart cheated on somebody or did something really, really wrong. Would you want one of his teammates to go public with that or go behind closed doors and say, dude, what are you doing
what
that
are you
for?
doing? Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know, that's the issue
but that's
that I
meant
have.
But see, this is where I come down to again. This is the whole, like, this is when, like, this is how a man handles things. I told you, I hate man drama. I hate it. I think it's embarrassing.
Right.
I hate it. So this is a part of it. This is the whole thing, man drama. You want it to be public because you want it to play out publicly because you want people to rally behind you and say, you're right. I always hated people that called you out when people are around. But when no one's around, they don't say a word about you. They don't say a word to you. But because why do they want that? Because they want other people around to go along with whatever they're saying. And I think that's where I think you're soft and you're weak. And I don't like that about what Abdul Carter showed there in that moment. That's a bad look for him worse than anything you could say about what Jaxson Dart did, whether you believe he shouldn't have bothered, you should know. Like, I know some people would say he should say, I don't want to get involved in that, because if I'm standing at that podium, I know there'll be people that will associate me now with him, with the president, and turn it into, you must be then a loyal follower who does all the same things that some of his sycophant followers do. There's no in between anymore in the world. There's no just saying, you know what? It's a country thing. It's the office of the president. It's pretty important. Instead, it just becomes, no, you're one of them, and now I'm supposed to hate you. And that's what kind of Abdul Carter suggested with that tweet. But that's bad for that locker room.
Now, I will say this in support of Carter. I think the fact that he fell asleep in meetings, I think the fact that he underachieved in his rookie year should have nothing to do with what he did. He's entitled to have that opinion, whether he's the best player on the team or whether he's the worst player on the team. Like, I felt like, we're going to kill him because he underachieved that year. So you're kind of suggesting that if he ended up being rookie of the year and had 15 sacks, that you give him a pass. That shouldn't be right. I mean, if you thought he did something wrong, the quality of player shouldn't have anything to do with it.
That's a good point.
So I had a problem with that criticism as well. Jaxson Dart talked about the conversation he had with Abdul Carter.
Yeah, I mean, we just talked. Me and Abdul came here at the same time. We shared a lot of very similar experiences. We've experienced adversity through a season and had to have each other's backs, and that's exactly what we continue to do today. Me and him are one of the closer guys on the team with each other. So, we've had a lot of conversation, and he's my brother. I know that I'm a brother to him, and, at the end of the day, we want to be the best people and players for each other.
All right, I want to get to some Abdul Carter and get his side. Says he will only address Dart introducing Donald Trump one time.
So first off, I want to say that some things are bigger than football, and this is one of those things. Jaxson is one of our leaders. He's the face of our franchise. He not only represents himself and what he does, but he represents all of us. And that goes for anybody who wears a Giants uniform. But if he chooses to align himself with a man like President Trump, it's my responsibility, based on what I believe and what I stand on, to not only show my teammates that I'm against that, but to show the world. And that doesn't mean that we have to spread hate. It doesn't mean that me and Jaxson hate each other or we have beef. I sit next to Jaxson every day, every team meeting. We close, we talk. As long as we make sure we got the same goal as a team and our goals align, which they do, and I feel like that's all that matters. So I just want to move past this, and yeah, that's it.
All right, that's very contradictory, what he just said there. That's contradictory. Like I don't understand why he feels it's important for him then to, like, the way he tweeted it was not exactly him standing on my beliefs. That was you calling out someone. If you wanted to say that you didn't agree with it, that's different. But to say, what are we doing here, is you're calling him out as if he shouldn't do that.
But let's talk about the elephant in the room, is that supporting Donald Trump is not like just supporting any Republican president. I mean, he is a very polarizing figure.
There's no question about
that has certain beliefs that there are people that are going to be totally against that. So it's not your typical Republican-Democrat thing.
No.
So that's where Abdul Carter is going through. And I think people need to understand that there's really no other comp, because Donald Trump is a polarizing figure. There are people that literally hate his guts.
Yes.
There are people that love him. There are people that hate him. It's very polarizing. I mean, we're not going to get into all of the details of that. That's not what we do here on this radio station. But he felt strong enough that he wanted to go public with that, and that's why he did it. Asked if Dart apologized in their conversation.
No, I don't want him to say he's sorry. Like, stand on what you believe in, but it can't be a problem when I stand on what I believe in. And that's all that matters to me. Just as long as we have that understanding, it's all good.
And I think that's well said, because I don't think he should have to apologize.
Of course not.
And Carter shouldn't have to apologize how he feels about it. But
again, Don, that's a different. Again, if Carter texted him and said, what are you doing? And they got into it that way, and no one, like, you kept it between men. That to me shows a respect for your teammate and letting him know, but I'm not believing in what you do.
But here's the rub, and I don't think there's any way around this, and you could have a problem with it or not. is that Carter's telling you that his feelings on this are more important than football. Like, getting that out was more important than keeping it in-house and saving the team. That's what he's telling you. Whether you like that or not, I mean, that's kind of what he's telling you, right?
I guess so.
Like, he could have, I get uncomfortable with the whole, he needs to man up and stuff. Like, yeah, if he felt that the team and their camaraderie and their chemistry was more important, he would have kept it in-house. He went public with it because his feelings on this matter are more important than the football.
Okay, if that's true, and again, if he feels that way, he feels that way. I can't begrudge him of his feelings and all that. But then you can't tell me then that, but it's good, we're good. Because how are you good if you disagree with something he did that felt benign?
I get, and again, I'm speaking for him, but the way I take it is he felt it was important to let the world know how he felt about it. He did that, and now we move on. I guess that's the way it works for them. Like, hey, you told the world you supported Donald Trump. I felt I needed to tell the world that I don't like that. Now we're good. And if that's the case, then I'm good. Now we can get back to football.
Well, that's what I'm hoping for. You're right about that, because you know what? If this could, here's the positive. Here's the positive I want it to become, Don, is that they both had their say, and you know what they did? They talked it out. And it didn't turn into a fist fight or a screaming match, and they both walked away still having mutual respect for each other, because beyond the fact that maybe they have different political beliefs, they know they can still work together and they can still have a common goal and still have 99 other things that they share in common. So the one thing that they don't can't pull them apart. And isn't that the example we're all trying to get to in this world?
Yeah,
so if I can find the positive here, that's the thing I will find, is that Carter didn't turn this into, I can't play with this dude. Instead, let's talk about it, because you and I came in together. You and I, we need to be part of something to turn this franchise around. I want to work with you on this. And Dart said, yeah, man, it's not personal. I want to work with you, and let's make this right. And if that's where it goes, then it is a great example.
That is a very good example. All right, we've got to go to break because we're really up against. We got E&N coming up at 6 o'clock. We got Mets at 6:30. But I was told I got to play the Jameis Winston, and we will do that when we come back. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg, ESPN New York.
Chris Carlin with you. Glad to be joined right now by Taylor Canfield. He is the U.S. Sail GP team driver, and we are all getting ready for the Mubadala New York Sail Grand Prix coming up at the end of May. Taylor, how we doing?
Yeah, we're excited for the home event in New York, and can't wait to be there and racing in front of all the fans.
Tell us why fans should be excited for the Mubadala New York Sail Grand Prix.
The racing is just so exhilarating, coming in and watching it from the shoreline of Governor's Island and in front of the Statue of Liberty, racing in one of the biggest, most amazing cities in the world. I'm getting the goosebumps just talking about it. And these boats are the fastest boats in the world, racing with the best sailors in the world. It's really cool, and it's going to be so electric in New York. And it's our home event this year, so we're pumped.
We are pumped as well, Taylor. We appreciate your time. He is U.S. Sail GP team driver Taylor Canfield. We're looking forward to the Mubadala New York Sail Grand Prix coming at the end of May. Taylor, thanks.
Want to earn extra revenue for your business? Amazon Hub Delivery is looking for local business owners to assist with deliveries. When you become a partner, you and your staff will deliver packages to customers in your area on a schedule that works for you. With each package delivered, you'll gain extra revenue and exposure for your business. Plus, Amazon Hub Delivery makes it easy to get started. There's no upfront cost, delivery experience, or long-term contracts required. Sign up to learn more at Amazon.com/Hub Delivery. That's Amazon.com/HUB Delivery.
I'd finally have time to reread my favorite fantasy book.
Dig deeper. We're imagining winning the New York lottery here.
Okay, I'd build my own reading nook right where the sun hits.
Getting warmer.
The French sun. I'll buy a villa in Marseille. Wait, what's the French word for sun?
I don't know, Kathy. You're the reader.
Okay, I'll hire a tutor to learn the French word for sun, then the words to negotiate real estate, then I'll buy my own French library.
And to think you just wanted to reread a book. New York Lottery. Can you imagine? Play today. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
But you gotta feel bad for people who don't even get it. Some people will never know what it's like to see their favorite team's hopes decided by a ping pong ball to draft the next superstar. Or not. I mean, sure, it's silly for your happiness to hinge on the success of a 20-year-old entry-level employee, but you just can't help yourself. The stress is exhilarating. Progressive can't bring people together like the draft, but we can bring your home and auto insurance together with a bundle. So switch and see if you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states or situations.
Evan Cohen here. In life, as in sports, the pros make it look easy. That's why pro golfers like Jason Day, Ben Griffin, and Patton Kazire trust the pros in lawn care. True Green. They have the experience and expertise to give you a lawn worthy of the PGA Tour. And since True Green does the work for you, you get more free time, or more tee times. So stop stressing over your lawn and start loving it. Sign up now at TrueGreen.com because nobody makes it easier to get a golf course quality lawn than True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour.
Welcome to basketball's biggest stage.
Somebody will reach basketball immortality.
Welcome to the NBA Finals.
That's basketball at its finest.
This is about more than a game, more than a series. This is about legacy.
You are watching what greatness is all about.
Tune in to see who performs under the brightest lights and who writes their way into history. The 2026 NBA Finals begin Wednesday on ABC.
Last call crew at 1-800-919-3776. Great song, by the way.
Yeah.
6 o'clock ENN with Anthony Pusick. But I was told, Jameis Winston's a gem. I mean, he's so funny. He usually is somebody that I'm entertained by. And I was told by our producer, Anthony Pusick, we've got to play Jameis Winston's opinion on the Dart Carter situation.
You see FIFA World Cup over there. I think one thing we're going to quickly understand is, like, we got people coming from all nationalities, religions, perspective that's coming into this city. Are we just going to get mad and say, oh, my God, why are these people from there coming over here? They taking all the parking spots. They doing all this stuff. Are we going to embrace the diversity that sport brings us? Are we going to embrace the platform that we going to get to cheer, celebrate, or cry, have a kick with our buddy, have a tough conversation with our sister about what's going on in this country right now, or what's going on in the world right now? I think that's what is bigger than that. And I think this team is going to benefit from being able to deal with this situation that's been put on us about opinions, circumstances, conditions, and facts. Even if they're true, they're still opinions of other people. We know what we represent up here in this building. We know what we get paid to do. But a lot of us are opening our eyes to the influence that we do have on the whole world. And that's a beautiful thing. When you can humble yourself and realize that, man, I got impact. I can really be the change that I desire to see. And that's what I'm encouraging these guys to do.
I love that.
Yeah,
it's really what you and I are trying to talk about here.
Yeah.
We are not taking a side. What we're talking about is the importance of understanding that too often, and you use the word polarize, and it's exactly it. And as long as he is in office, it's going to happen to this country. And it sucks, but that's where we are. And what Jameis is saying there is, I think what we were both trying to say is to come together and figure out how to work in our little world here, understanding that we're all going to be different. We're all going to have differences. Don, you and I have differences. We don't agree on everything. Right. We have points of view about things in life and stuff that we don't agree. But it can't get in the way of whatever the common goal is. And especially for these guys, their common goal is to play together on a football team and have success and work together and then show everybody. I think what James is saying, show the world that, you see, we don't let that stuff break us apart.
We have to find a way. It's. I know it's so hard because it's so crazy out there. And, you know, I have my political beliefs. I'm pretty much down the middle. I don't make it public because I don't think it's anybody's business.
And I hate everybody.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I kind of feel the same way sometimes. But, you know, I have some of my best friends, people that I love, that I disagree with politically. And it's always been the case, and I still love them, and we agree to disagree, we move on. But for some people can't let it go, and good on them. I mean, if that's how if it's the most important thing in the world, the reason why politics have never been that important to me, I know they should be, but you know, I live in my bubble of sports and my family, and same. I kind of worry about me. You know, what helps me, what benefits me, because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing in the world for me. But there are people that are consumed by it, and that's how they choose to live their life. But we just got to find – I know it sounds lame. We just got to find a way to all get along, man.
Well, to work together, just to be able to work together.
Yeah.
The common goal is to get through life together and find ways to have success despite our differences, and I think that's the example here.
And
that's the example.
And again, I don't have to prove anything to anybody, but but me being cool with what Dart did doesn't mean that I'm a Trump supporter, and me ripping into Carter doesn't mean that I'm not.
I just didn't like Don. I didn't like that.
But I'm cool with him. Like at the end of the day, I'm cool with Abdul Carter because I just want him to sack quarterbacks. And
I respect that he feels strongly about something to a point that he was affected by it to say something. What I didn't like was that it's like when it comes to a teammate, I'm looking at it from the sports perspective only. And we use the show as the example. You guys are teammates. You've known each other for a couple of years. You're supposed to be close. That's one of those where it's like that's a private thing. If then you wanted to say, hey, I talked to Jaxson. I don't believe in that, but I'm cool with him, then you could go public.
Yeah,
but I felt like that was a bit of a you made it about you, and that was not a man-to-man thing right there. But that's what I didn't like.
See, I don't think it's selfish. I just look at it as that he really felt like it was important to let the world know because at that particular moment.
But why rush to social media? First talk to the guy,
I know.
Man.
You're right. But at the end of the day, he really wanted the world to know. He told you that.
So your 150,000 or wherever it is, strangers following you are more important than your teammate? I don't know how many followers he has, but I'm just saying, like, that's more important. All those people that you don't know is more important than your teammate.
I want to squeeze in some of these calls before ENN. Mike in Asbury Park, you're on ESPN New York.
Hey guys, let's go Knicks.
Yep, go Knicks.
I do want to try. I do want to try and give you a little bit different perspective, especially with Allen. I mean, you guys say you're down the middle on it, but you're not coming across that way, honestly. But I think you should think about it from the perspective of the black player. For the last 10 years, they've been trashed almost on a daily basis by Donald Trump. And Trump's approval rating, is in the garbage can, and it's even worse among African Americans. I mean, his administration is firing black generals and officers in the military. They took down Jackie Robinson's picture, for God's sakes, in the Pentagon because he's black. So black people are dealing with something that we are not. And
no, I get that, but it just shows you, Mike, because we're up against it. But
no, real quick. Here you have the white quarterback face of the franchise in giant skier saying "Go Big Blue" at a Trump rally, and across the NFL you have black players that do not like this man. So here, and I guarantee you, Abdul Carter was not the only black giant that had a problem with this.
Right. But you know what's so weird, Mike, is that you saw Saquon Barkley take a picture with Trump at the Oval Office. We've seen Lawrence Taylor introduce Donald Trump at rally. It's not as cut and dried as that, man, because we've seen African Americans support Trump.
But I again, we're not saying Abdul Carter was wrong to feel the way he feels. It was the method. I just felt like the first thing is your teammate and your team. That's it. If he wanted to tweet about it or whatever it was after talking to Dart to get like what was that about? What are you about? Like that? Fine. It just created a controversy, and the locker room had to have a meeting. You heard some player, Luminor was like, "This is not an issue." Like there was a lot of players who were annoyed that it became a public thing.
This is why it's so difficult to address these things.
That's all it's about. It's not about what he said. It's not about how he feels.
All right, but we live in a world, unfortunately, that if we don't eviscerate Dart for what he did, we're MAGA. If we give any criticism at all to Carter, then then you know what I'm saying? Like,
I do know. You're right.
You can't win by having an opinion because there can't be any nuance. There's no nuance anymore.
No, I know.
There's no nuance of give the kid a break. Oh, you give the kid you must be a Trump supporter. Or if you support Carter and what he did, well, then obviously you must be liberal. Like, no, why can't there be the nuance? That's when we say, he said we gave away our leanings. We really didn't. We just, because honestly, it's because the nuance is that I could see both sides of the story.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that comes across as weak. So I'm not here to please anybody. I'm just here to give you what I think is going on.
That's right.
Now, ENN is next. It's Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg taking up until Mets baseball at 6:30 on ESPN New York.
And by the way, everybody in New York, every block is a business and every minute counts. And Amazon Hub Delivery lets you earn extra revenue from the business you already run, and you and your staff can deliver packages right in your neighborhood on a schedule that works for you. It's a smart way to keep your hustle going, bring in more revenue, more visibility, and staying connected to the community you serve every day. So at Elaine Services Dream in Washington Heights, Elaine says that tax season keeps her busy from January through April, but she values the extra revenue from Amazon Hub Delivery that helps her manage expenses during the slower summer and fall months. And getting started, it's easy. No delivery experience, no long-term contracts, and no startup costs. New York local businesses, if you're ready to make your next move, visit Amazon.com/Hub Delivery. That's Amazon.com/HUB Delivery.
D'Agostino Law Bite Back. This is John D'Agostino from D'Agostino & Associates, and I know how a serious accident can change your life just like that.
I'm Jenna D'Agostino, and I understand that with pain comes medical bills and time out of work. Let us get you justice.
This is John Ryan, the closer. For over 35 years, our family has been getting accident victims every dollar they deserve.
I started this firm for the injured so they can bite back against the insurance companies.
Our legacy is to get you justice. Bite back.
To get you paid. Bite back.
At D'Agostino & Associates, bite back means fight back. When you're hurt and they blame you, we bite back and get you every dollar you deserve. We have offices throughout New York and New Jersey, so call us first at 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222. 1-800-248-3222. I've been there, and I'll be there for you.
This is your home for the Eastern Conference champion New York Knicks and the NBA Finals. WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
Now let's take a look at the traffic with Brandy Scott.
Thanks a million, guys. I hope you have an amazing rest of the night and a fantastic weekend. We've got the Mets home at Citi Field. First pitch just a little over an hour away. Also fireworks night and not so great on the Van Wyck northbound, heading over to Northern Boulevard in Queens. Crash out there involving a work van and a couple of SUVs in the left lane. Some debris on the roadway. Traffic is stopped there from right before the LIE. Bumper-to-bumper ride at the Whitestone Bridge heading across the Upper East River from the Bronx side. Grand Central eastbound, some solid pockets of slowdowns heading toward the stadium from the Triborough Bridge. New York Liberty home at the Barclays in Brooklyn. You're packed on the BQE in both directions heading over to Atlantic Avenue. Inbound George, stick with the lower deck, upper level, a 30 to 40-minute ride from 8095. Worst ride to the outbound George, they're all pretty bad. Cross Bronx westbound, slam from the Bruckner on through. Outbound Lincoln Arena 20 to 30 minutes. Outbound Holland 45 plus. I'm Brandy Scott on 880 ESPN New York.
The New York City Department of Correction offers countless career opportunities, from specialized units to leadership roles that support public safety and change lives for the better. It starts with one step: registering for the New York City Correction Officer exam. Earn over $109,000 after just 5.5 years. Benefits on day one, job security, pension at any age after 22 years of service. Go to nyc.gov/joinDOC or search Join DOC. One career, many opportunities. Registration ends today. Take the test.
Hey, this is Jalen Brunson. What's up, Knicks fans? This is Josh Hart.
Knicks fans, it's Mikal Bridges,
and this is your home for New York Knicks basketball.
This is 880 ESPN and the ESPN New York app.
North Brunswick, get ready. Boost Mobile by Tuvaz is throwing down with the grand opening at their newest spot in Brunswick Shopping Center. Join them Friday, May 29th from 2 to 6 p.m. with food, prizes, and giveaways that you don't want to miss. That's Boost Mobile at Brunswick Shopping Center in North Brunswick. We'll see you there.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code SMART to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money, so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code SMART. To borrow up to $10,000, use code SMART to borrow up to $10,000.
This is an ENN Special Report. Now reporting.
The very handsome Jewish man, Peter Rosenberg.
We should talk some sports. Do what you want. It's ENN.
Oh, it's now time for ENN, brought to you by Fanatics Fest NYC. LeBron James will be taking over Fanatics Fest on Thursday, July 16th and Friday the 17th, starting with a live recording of Mind the Game with Tyrese Halliburton. Anthony Pusick filling in for the, how do we say
On assignment?
On assignment, Peter Rosenberg.
Yes.
Yeah, we've done this before.
How
and of
are
course,
you, honey?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Good.
Clash of Italy, Sunday, starts at 2, but you know Peter's going to be probably on the pre-show. He's going to be on the after show. ESPN Unlimited, if you don't have it. If you're a wrestling fan, you need it. And you get so much stuff from it, along with the WWE stuff, so you definitely want to do that. Clash of Italy, it should be good. Peter, of course, will be on the coverage. That's why he's not here today, and you're stuck with me, quite frankly.
For
ENN, that's right. Thank you, Peter. You suck, Pusick. Thank you, Peter. I agree. Most days I agree.
You know what? He's not wrong.
No, I know.
He's not. He's wrong to say you suck, but the fact that you agree,
it's on brand.
You're not lying.
No, it's on brand. See, exactly. Thank you, Don. New photo and autograph slots actually have opened up for all talent going to Fanatics Fest, by the way. If you want a photo or an autograph from Gronk, Cam Schlittler, Cody Bellinger, David Wright, and a bunch of WWE superstars, I saw a few of them actually.
Go Knicks!
Danhausen, he'll be there.
I'm good with Danhausen.
Undertaker, Alexa Bliss, and many, many more. So if you're looking for that, check it out, fanaticsfest.com. It's only, once we get back, guys, only a month away.
It's crazy.
Mid-July, might, as Peter's always mentioned, you might see NBA champion Jalen Brunson there. He's going to be there. Whether he's a champion or not is yet to be determined, but we certainly hope. Yes. Certainly hope that that'll be the case. Let's start at 6:06. This is perfect. This is usually around the time we get to these, Jacob. Let's say good evening to Don and Alan.
I think he brings an interesting historical perspective to it, so I'm looking forward to talking to Ian O'Connor coming up at 3:45.
Well, Ian Begley's at 3:45.
What did I say?
Ian O'Connor.
Yeah, because I heard Ian in my ear, and I think of O'Connor. No offense to Begley or anybody else named Ian.
Right, but it ended up turning out great for the show
because we got him on, and he was a great guest.
We got two of the best Ians to talk to on a day like today.
I get in talk show mode, and I'm not very good at what I do.
No,
but I've overcome it.
But by the way, all you did was put together two fantastic guests for us, both Ians.
How'd that work out?
It worked out great. I thought it was. I thought it was fantastic. Special report. Don and Alan.
If you saw me, twirling the hammer,
you were excited.
Not everybody can twirl the hammer.
You know what? Out of context, I didn't realize just how. What's the word I'm trying to think of here?
Hilarious?
Risque.
Yeah.
Statement was.
How the double entendre that was not necessarily intended.
Twirling the hammer, though, that's
not everybody
that's
can
a
do
special
that.
Gift.
Yeah, that is a gift.
If we had a vehicle to play these back at some point for a contest of some sort, that would be hilarious. Unfortunately, that's not going to be a thing anymore.
It's over.
Don?
Hockey still is growing in certain markets, right? I mean, one of the reasons hockey.
I like.
What was
it's Ed Hockley's cousin Hockular. You made hockey popular. It was Hockular.
Yep. See,
I enjoyed it.
Ed Hockley. He's the one with the guns, right?
Yeah, and his son's I think his son's doing it now too. I think his son's in.
Yeah, but I don't think he's got guns.
No, not like his dad. No.
Sun's out, guns out. My trainer says that all the
time. How is Kimball doing? Is he good?
Kimball's moved on, and I stayed at the gym that we're at, New Journey, and so I basically have a personal trainer, and I'm telling you, Alan, every single day, kicking my ass, and I just keep going.
That's awesome, though.
I'm just, oh my God, it really.
Yeah,
that's how you're Eric is doing a terrific job.
So you're drenched in sweat when you're done.
He said the next level that I would go to, where he has me at, I'd be preparing for a fight. I'm the level below preparing for a fight.
I love it.
Wow.
Because and listen, I shouldn't think this way. And I've said this many times. People think I'm joking. I need, before I pass away, to get into one more fight. I haven't been in
you
a
want
fight
to
since I was
use it.
13.
Why?
Even if I get beaten senseless, I need a good beating. I right before I pass, whenever I would like to get into one more fist fight.
I could use a good ass kicking.
I guess but I'm still like I haven't been tested. Like 13 years old, this guy Scott said something to me, and I just punched him in the face.
Wow.
And then a couple of years later, I got beat up, kicked in the head. I remember these things. I think it would be good. Maybe is there somebody at the Fan I could fight? Maybe we have like a charity boxing match.
Wow.
How about that?
That'd be quite something.
Who would I match up with?
Can I be your corner man?
Who do you think I'd match? But honestly, I even if you're insulting me, who do you think I'd match up with?
Former K-Show co-host wants boxing match with.
Right.
I don't know.
Don't worry, we heard from Peter too today.
Sports.
I like that drop. I really do. That's a good drop. Well, Don, I hate to annoy you on a Friday.
There we go.
Going into the weekend, waiting for the Knicks to have an opponent in the NBA final. I don't think I'm telling tales out of school here, guys. I if I'm not mistaken, I think we are efforting even, to be out in some capacity for every one of these games, for as many as there are.
We're doing a lot of special things that are going to be announced once this is all firmed up here.
Yeah,
okay.
So just, keep an eye on our Twitter.
So Wednesday we're going to be somewhere.
I believe Wednesday we are attempting to be somewhere, and we're going, even if it's a road game, guys, now. Usually we did home games.
Yeah.
We are going to try to be out for every game of the NBA Finals. If we have the ability, we are going to try.
Now let me be sensitive about this.
Okay, I understand completely.
Because we can't give any details.
No.
But Wednesday there's also possibly something else going on.
Yes.
Will that be at the same venue or a different venue?
No. I think what you're referring to would be at a different venue.
Okay, that's why I was just curious.
Yes. So that'll be fun. Listen, there's a lot going on, Alan. You're not going to be part
moving.
of it. There'll be movement. Yes.
There will be movement.
There will be movement. I can promise you that there will.
I can tell you, I mean, other than like having to go, no, I don't think I've ever changed venues during the day.
Oh, well, guess what? It'll be happening. Alan does it like every time we do a Nick remote.
Literally, it's all I do. I'm constantly in movement.
Well, one thing, I'm not telling tales out of school here either. We won't be at the block party. Those aren't happening.
No, I guess
NYPD made sure of that one. We shut those down.
I mean, that just sucks.
It's the right thing.
It didn't stop the fans, though.
No, well, that's what makes this country great, I guess.
But it was just
you could defy authority.
It was such a vibe, man. It really was.
It was a vibe, but it was a vibe, but it was also
it got out of control.
Fugazi. But it got out of control because of the Fugazi side of it. Because the non-Knick fans who just wanted to get their 15 minutes, they're the ones that are being yo-yos. The real diehard Knick fans, that was what made it cool.
You really needed the fraud court at
that would have been something. Just bringing up everybody on charges would have been amazing. But I'll give you this example.
just
having Don just sit there with a gavel,
just walking around with like a whole desk around me, like a portable bench.
People would just be dragging people up to you, going, "This guy's not even a Knick fan." All right, name one player off the 2015-16 roster. That would be hilarious.
He never knew Alonzo Trier.
People are so cool. Like I have 3 gavels. 2 of them were sent by fans.
That's
one of them was purchased by Anthony Pusa because he's a great guy.
Oh, he's a great guy. Yeah.
I think if we're going to make this happen, and I'll use it on the show if it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
I think I need one of those old timey English wigs.
I think you need a wig,
right?
No, you need a wig.
If anybody knows how to do that.
The other thing we need to take care of, by the way, guys, it really should be Peter. He's got to buy a clown suit. He's got to pay off this bet before we start a whole nother season.
Well, because the Beach Bash is right around the
corner.
I'm
thinking the Beach Bash is where he's going to do it.
Well, that has to be where it's
for
done,
the whole
right?
show, though.
Oh, it's going to be. Come on,
it's going to be
that's
90
that's what losers do. Wow. Well, it's going to be 90. Oh, why do we not? Why do we want our punishments to be so soft? Why don't we get him a massage while we're at it?
Don, when
does he have to wear makeup too?
We discussed the makeup, and I think that would be hilarious because it would start to melt. It would start to melt off by 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
He would look like Sad Clown with tears.
Because remember, when Don at the Beach Bash was supposed to get pegged by tennis balls.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't enough that they were thrown at him. Knives needed to be put in. If we could set them on fire, that would have been great, but we couldn't.
These are the things that have been refused.
Yeah.
Right? I wanted to have David Cohn throw a baseball into my back. Nope, can't do it. I wanted to have a dunk tank filled with mayonnaise. No, we can't do it. How about just a dunk tank? No, we can't do it.
Can't do a dunk tank?
It was insurance purposes.
Yeah, insurance purposes.
On a dunk tank?
It was an
The
insurance
Brady Bunch
situation.
had it in the backyard. It was no issue.
Well, they had the insurance. I don't know what to
it's
tell
a
you.
punishment. It shouldn't be. Michael Kay all of a sudden had beautiful hair.
And ate a Whopper.
He ate a Whopper, which is glorious. Might have it for dinner tonight now that it was mentioned. Dressed up like a Ranger at a Ranger game and basically signed autographs all day. Had ketchup. Oh, my God, ketchup. We need punishment. Now it's the Don on the road. It's a new era. There's a new world.
That upset Dave more than anybody.
It's a new world now. Punishment. Clown all day.
So
big feet, makeup, hair on each side all day. If he doesn't do it, he's out.
This is going to lead perfectly into David Stern spoke today, Don.
Oh, speaking of clowns.
He has a...
Okay. Alan,
by the way, we're up at
Wait, Alan.
I'm sorry.
He's swinging the hammer at the end of the show.
I'm going to take a look. We are off at 6:30 today for Mets Marlins coverage.
Really. Dude.
At any rate.
This has been, come on. You talk about a clown show.
At any rate, we did hear.
co-host of Bart and Hahn.
I could use a good ass kicking.
Rips. calls David Stern's a clown.
Former Bart Scott co-host. They wouldn't even go with the old name.
No.
David Stearns, let's evaluate the season to this point.
We have not had a good year so far. There's no question. We're not where we thought we would be. We've dug ourselves a hole. It's not an insurmountable hole, but it is definitely a hole, and we're going to have to play a lot better baseball to do what we want to do this year.
Now, I heard Jacob cutting this. I believe David Stearns at one point or another had said Memorial Day, which is something I think Dan Gross has said a lot too, is where you can really start to evaluate where a team is.
That's one of the lines of demarcation. Let's see where we're at.
So, up until all these other times he's addressed the media, it had not been Memorial Day. Well, my good friends, today, this week, we were off Monday. Why? Because it was Memorial Day. Now that he was able to evaluate the team, he has said, we have not had a good year.
Not have a good year.
Not having a good year.
Does he have anything else to say?
He does.
Some Captain Obvious there. That's great.
How much have injuries impacted the underperformance of these Mets?
I don't know that I can sit here and say it's X percent of the cause, but it's had an impact. We're not going to run away from that. We've had an enormous amount of potential impact in our lineup on the IL pretty much for the entire season. That has put some other players in positions that we did not expect them to be in, take impact and regular playing time at times that we didn't expect.
Hang on.
So it's had an impact.
Come on. Like, again, more Captain Obvious stuff here. But the problem you keep coming back to is you brought in players. What do you call it? Risk assessment.
There you
go. They have to reconsider their risk assessment. You brought in players who have a history of being injured. You can't act surprised when they get injured and then say, we had no plan. We weren't expecting this, and we had to play players that had to fill in because of these injuries. Risk assessment.
Right.
It's your own words. It's what he said.
He did, because you bring in – that would be my follow-up. Exactly, Alan. We're on the same page. But you brought in players who have a history of getting hurt.
Yeah.
What was the plan if those guys do what they always do, get hurt?
Get hurt.
And by the way, it wasn't like they were tearing the cover off the ball before they got hurt.
Oh, that's true.
The one injury to a player that in my eyes was performing was Clay Holmes. I thought he was performing well, had a great
and that was
average,
a freak
got hurt.
one.
Yeah,
right?
But it's free. Then that happens, you know.
Yeah.
But I like organizations that say, sure, we've had injuries, but it's no excuse. I know it's cliche, but it still kind of comes across as you're trying to sell the public that injuries are the reason that you're in the situation that you're in, and I don't think anybody buys that.
No, I don't think so either. And look, we've known that they haven't had a good season. It's unfortunate, but I think we're starting to see more that David Stearns can't just gloss over, even if he is with the injury stuff here, that something has to change here.
I'm going to tell you something. It's a compliment. He talks every homestand. I give him credit for that.
Oh,
He's
absolutely.
not hiding away.
Yep.
You know,
that's true.
And also just making a statement. Everybody that we've praised, everybody is praising Leon Rose. He doesn't speak, you know.
Yeah.
And when it was bad, he didn't speak, and I give him credit. It's great, and he could be speaking. He's not speaking. He doesn't speak. I like guys that are out front. So he's taking his slings and arrows, but I do like the fact that he's making himself.
I'll give him that credit. He's not hiding from it. He's got to face the music, but he's got to face the music, and he's doing it.
And he's doing it, so
Yeah.
give him credit for that.
Yeah.
Well, something else is going on, guys, and I didn't think we'd have to worry about this just yet, but the fact that the MLB and MLBPA are already talking about an expiring CBA at the end of this year lets you know that they think they have some work to do. The owners proposed a hard salary cap to players as part of the next CBA on Thursday, their first firm cap proposal since 1994. Can anybody remind me what happened in 1994?
There was no World Series.
There was no World Series. Okay. Under the proposal presented at a meeting with union officials, each team would need to maintain a payroll of at least $171.2 million without exceeding $245.3 million starting in 2027, which includes player benefits, just as it does under the current competitive balance tax system. Look, we can get into the weeds on this. We can make this very complicated. The way I read it is we're going to strike.
Strike?
That's what I think, that there's going to be a strike.
Not a lockout.
Because I don't think, lockout, strike, whatever you want to call it.
Well,
I don't think.
That's not the same, though. That's not the same.
Well, it's a work stoppage either way. I think that's
stoppage.
Anthony's
All right,
point.
we won't have baseball at the start of 2027.
No shot.
Because I don't think the players are going to go for a cap.
And please, remember, this is a league. Now, I don't think they'll cancel a whole season because I do think there'll be owners that don't want to lose that kind of money. In the NHL, there were a lot of owners that made more money by not having a season back in 04-05. But remember, this was the clown show that had a 60-game season, and everybody's like, "Oh, COVID." It had nothing. It had some to do with COVID. Most of it, they just couldn't, agree on how to handle it, and thought it was a good idea to have a 60-game season. I think that's where we're ahead. We're going to see a significant amount of games lost.
And just, of course, if you're following this model, which would be a ceiling of $245.3 million and a floor of $171.2 on current teams. 12 would need to increase their payrolls to reach the floor.
12
8 would have to shed payroll to reach the ceiling. The Yankees, Mets, and Dodgers, of course, being three.
And the two things that I keep harping on, one for sure, is that the other three sports have thrived by adding a salary cap. And why baseball can't do it, I'm not sure. And the reason they should do it and why the players should embrace it is all those teams that aren't spending any money now might have to double or even in some cases close to triple their payroll. That's going to create jobs and that's going to allow players to make money because there'll be more opportunities to make money instead of looking at the cuts the big market teams will make. The smaller market teams will have to spend. And I think that's a good thing.
Well, have to.
Now, they will have to.
That's the key phrase there, Don. Because if you're, and look, people don't like to be pro ownership; they're always pro player, and except of course once you get to a point where you're losing games, now everybody's mad at everybody. But I will look at it from this way, from the ownership perspective. Why, like Hal Steinbrenner, a great example. Even Cohen. Why am I paying revenue sharing? Why am I paying? Why am I giving the Rays and the Marlins and the Pirate, why am I giving you money and you're not investing it in your team? So you're still refusing to spend to be a competitive team. Now the Rays are not an example because they, for some reason, I don't know how the hell they do it, $89 million payroll, and they're competitive. Doesn't make sense, but they do it. But most teams that don't spend are not competitive. And I'm giving you money. I have to pay into this revenue sharing thing because I'm spending and you don't spend it. You put it right in your pocket. That would bother me. So a cap and a floor forces you to have to spend.
And the players don't want it because they'll think that their money is being taken away. Well, how come in a cap sport Mahomes is able to make $60 million? And LeBron James is able to make $60 million.
It's reallocated. It's the fact that you can't have a Dodgers anymore where we can just give everybody a ton of money and all be teammates and have a super team.
Hey.
Now you're going to have to. Somebody's going to have to take the money to play in Miami or in Texas or in Arizona or in Pittsburgh. You're going to have to take the big contract or choose to take less to play on a better team. But that gives you competitive balance. It's a real thing. We see it in all sports.
We only got about 2 minutes to go here,
That's
guys.
right.
So I would like to get predictions from you guys for Game 7 tomorrow. Spurs, Thunder, who wins?
I think the Thunder blow them out.
Blow them out?
Yeah.
Blow them out at home. Alan, what are your thoughts? I know you said earlier that it's going to depend on the whistle.
Yep.
But if we can't predict that, let's say, unless you want to predict where you think the whistles are going to go, who do you think wins the game?
Yeah, look, I find it hard to believe the defending champs are going to lose a Game 7 in their building. The two-time MVP is going to lose a Game 7 in his building. I find it very hard to believe. I think the Spurs gave you what you would expect, that last punch, empty the tank, Game 6 type performance. But it's just very hard for me to see a scenario where the Thunder lose that game at home with the two-time MVP losing at home. I just can't.
You want to send the kid for my jet fresh.
That's going to do it for ENN.
Yeah, I'd love a classic, believe me. But I don't know if we're going to get it. That was ENN, brought to you by Fanatics Fest NYC. Fanatics Fest returns to the Javits Center July 16th through the 19th. See Aaron Judge, LeBron James, Jalen Brunson, John Cena, and hundreds more at the world's largest sports fan festival. Tickets available now at fanaticsfest.com. Alan, have a phenomenal weekend. Rest up, because it's going to get nuts very, very soon.
Oh, next week's going to be great, glorious, everybody.
Monday, we'll have an opponent. Looking forward to it. Alan and I, just the two of us, all next week. And it begins Monday at 3 o'clock. Up next, Mets, Marlins, Citi Field. It doesn't get any better than that.
The New York Knicks, the NBA Finals. Finally.
And the New York Knicks are on their way to the NBA Finals. For the